Chapter 35-23. At times like this, whoever contacts the other first will be at a disadvantage. You have to learn such a simple principle, Triangle Eyes said bluntly. The two of them really felt that listening to a wise man's words is better than studying for 10 years. They worshipped Triangle Eyes. Third brother, if it weren't for you, we wouldn't have known that things could be done like this. De Zhuang grinned in surprise. I really regret not following you earlier. If I had known third brother earlier, I wouldn't be in this situation now. Triangle Eyes thought to himself, with your IQ, you might not be doing as well as you are now if you had met me earlier. Big Head at least gave you food to eat and something to do. If you had followed him instead, you would have died outside the borders. You wouldn't have had the chance now. I think so too, but I believe it's not too late now. It's our luck to be able to work with third brother now. Da Zhuang flattered. We have to be better than those people who haven't had the chance to work for third brother until now. Am I right? Yes. You're absolutely right. It's enough for us to have this chance all these years. Triangle Eyes was very disdainful when he heard the two of them flattering him. However, on the surface, he laughed and joked with the two of them, showing a very fond expression. All right, we've had enough fun. We still have things to do. I'll definitely lower the price. Don't worry about that. The confidence of the triangular-eyed man filled the hearts of these two guys with excitement. For this batch of goods, we'll lower the price by 3%. It's not much for the whole batch, but it's still a considerable amount of money. Triangle Eyes smiled slightly. He decided to set another trap for the two of them. That's for sure. 3% is 270 grams. Boss will definitely be very happy about this. The triangular-eyed man suddenly became serious. The boss has already promised to give me all the suppressed prices. Consider it my reward for what I've done this time. When De Zhuang and Xiao Shou heard this, their eyes lit up. Oh my God, this was a huge sum of money. After this trip, each of them could only earn 10,000 yuan for their hard work, but Triangle Eyes could earn more than 200,000 yuan at once. The boss was really generous this time. However, after thinking about it carefully, this price was lowered by the third brother, so he should give the money to the third brother. This money should be given to third brother. This nod of approval is very generous. De Zhuang nodded. I think this is what a boss should do. Third brother, you should earn this money. It's all thanks to you. Skinny Boy nodded as well. Although the two of them were a little envious and even a little jealous, they didn't hate him. They could only blame themselves for not having third brother's ability. No, I don't think this money should be mine alone. Triangle Eyes smiled and looked at the two of them. Suddenly, he stopped talking. The two of them were stunned. However, Triangle Eyes knew very well what they were thinking. He understood human psychology too well. No one would say no to money. This money shouldn't belong to him alone, because this matter this time was done by the three of them together. Therefore, everyone should have a share. De Zhuang and Xiao Shou didn't dare to say this. Although they wanted it, they definitely wouldn't say it out loud. The two of you worked so hard for me. Naturally, this money shouldn't be mine alone. Triangle Eyes said after the two of them thought it through. De Zhuang's face turned red with excitement. Third brother, you worked the hardest for this. Also, you brought us out to play this time. We only drove back and didn't do much. We can't take this money. The more they said that, the more they wanted to get a piece of the pie. Yes. Xiao Shou shook his head desperately. This money belongs to third brother. The two of us don't have a share. Are you looking down on me? Triangle Eyes suddenly glared. This was the time to establish his authority. While establishing his authority, he would give them money. At this time, they were willing to let Triangle Eyes establish his authority. They didn't dislike this kind of angry third brother at all. If you don't treat me as your brother, then fine. When we go back, I won't mention a word about this. We won't be brothers in the future. Triangle Eyes said unhappily. If you want to acknowledge me as your brother, then this money should be shared with third brother. You came out to do work. Why should you take so little money? The two of them suddenly felt that Triangle Eyes was much more noble. Third brother, don't say that. You are our third brother today. You will be our third brother every day in the future. That's right. In the future, the two of us will only have one third brother. That will be you, third brother. That's what you said. Do you want the money that the boss rewarded me? Triangle Eyes pressed on. De Zhuang and Xiao Shou looked at each other. Xiao Shou said embarrassedly, Then we will be thick-skinned and share the glory with third brother. 280. Third brother will take 80%, and the two of us will take 10% each. Hee, third brother, do you think this is appropriate? At this time, the two of them started to use honorifics. This was the power of money. No. Triangle Eyes suddenly glared. De Zhuang shuddered. He also glared at Xiao Shou. Why are you so greedy? Third brother gave it to us because he thinks highly of us. You want to take 10% each? Are you crazy? 19. We are already thick-skinned to take 10%. This guy changed his mind really quickly. Xiao Shou scolded him in his heart. However, he quickly looked at Triangle Eyes sincerely. Sorry, third brother. I didn't think too much just now. Please don't take offense. Don't treat me like an outsider. Don't call me sir. It feels awkward. Triangle Eyes said, Just call me third brother and I'll be happy. Third brother. Then do you think 10% is appropriate? De Zhuang asked carefully. Triangle Eyes shook his head. Of course not. 10%. Do you know how much 10% is? The two of them instantly felt their hearts skip a beat. If they didn't even get 10%, then they really felt that it was meaningless. Were they supposed to get 1% of the money? Then they would have to split it. How much money was that? Although it was a sum of money that they had picked up for free, it wasn't enough for them to flatter Triangle Eyes like this. Therefore, after Triangle Eyes said it was inappropriate, the two of them instantly lost their mood. You've worked so hard following me. Coming here to earn money is like risking your lives. In the end, you're telling me that you only want 10%? The triangular-eyed man's tone suddenly changed. Brother, you guys are really making me, your brother, lose face. If I only give you that little money, do you think I'm worthy of being your third brother? The two of them were instantly stunned. So he was complaining that they asked for too little, not that they were greedy. This was too satisfying. Third brother, no, it's too little. De Zhuang stuttered. Triangle Eyes directly said ruthlessly, I don't want a single cent of the reward money. I'll give it all to you two brothers. Just treat it as a greeting gift from me to you two brothers. I'm an older brother. If I don't even have this bit of etiquette, I'll be embarrassed to accept you calling me third brother. Don't. Third brother. That's too much. If you treat me as an older brother, then don't be so polite. If you continue to be so polite, then we can't be brothers anymore. Triangle Eyes said ruthlessly, Let me tell you, I'm just like this. I won't change my mind once I've decided on something. I admire the two of you too much. If you don't want this money, I'll be very sad. At this moment, De Zhuang and Xiao Skinny's mood was almost flying. It was like a meat pie falling from the sky. This money was like picking it up from the ground. Triangle Eyes had already revealed a sly smile in his heart. This kind of empty charity was a huge favor to them. This showed how generous he was, how grand he was, and how much he treated them as his own brothers. However, Triangle Eyes obviously wouldn't use such a large sum of money to raise two useless good-for-nothings. But why did he still say that? Why did he still give them such a promise? The reason was very simple. Triangular Eyes had already determined that Big Head would not give him the money he had saved. When the time came, if he couldn't get the money, he wouldn't be able to give it to the two of them. However, the two of them would definitely not blame him for this. Because they would know that it was Big Head who didn't keep his promise. It was Big Head who didn't give them the money. It had nothing to do with Triangle Eyes. As long as this happened, the two of them could be said to be completely on Triangle Eye's side. Moreover, they would have some hatred for Big Head. They would definitely not be loyal to him anymore. Triangle Eyes now wanted the two of them to feel that the money had completely entered their pockets. If it didn't happen, then it would be Big Head's fault. Big Head had robbed the money in their pockets. This was really murderous and ruthless. He had completely pulled Big Head's subordinates to his side. Triangle Eye's ability was definitely not ordinary. Chapter 35-24. Triangle Eyes knew that it was time to get down to business. Although it was already late, he still made a call to the person in charge of Ba Xiang. As he expected, the meeting time was arranged immediately. At this time, Triangle Eyes was not the one who was anxious, but the person on the other side. Therefore, Triangle Eyes was very relaxed. Both sides agreed to meet again at the previous place. This also made the two idiots with low IQ heave a sigh of relief. This was really wonderful news for them. Third brother, I realized that you are really amazing. What's that phrase again? Strategizing to success. Skinny gave a thumbs up. That's called strategizing to success and strategizing to success. De Zhuang corrected him disdainfully. If you are uncultured, don't use idioms blindly. Don't you feel embarrassed? Triangle Eyes was quite speechless at these two fellas. Strategizing to success? Strategizing to success? How could they not handle such a simple phrase? Could it be that these two fellows' stomachs were filled with idiots? Although it was said that people in society did not need to have a high degree or a high level of education, they still needed to have a high IQ. In this world, successful people in any field were all people with high IQ. This was something that the triangular-eyed man could guarantee. If people in the official career did not have a high IQ and EQ, they would definitely not be able to go far on this road. Moreover, they were destined to not be able to go high. It was even more so for businessmen. If they did not have a high IQ when they went out, they would lose so much money that they would jump off a building in 3 to 5 months. Even if they were involved in sports, such as football, basketball, or even rugby or ice hockey, those who seemed to be simple-minded and well-developed actually had a high IQ. The more successful they were and the more successful they were, the higher their IQ. This was certain. Those who were physically strong and talented would at most be a flash in the pan if they did not have a high IQ. Therefore, in any industry, IQ was extremely important. Only with a high IQ could one have a successful life. It was the same even in the criminal industry. Those with low IQ could only be stupid thieves. Good criminals were all bastards with high IQ. This time, you guys will learn from me. See how I bought this batch of goods at a price lower than 3%. Triangle Eyes said to the two of them, in the future, if you want to make a living, you must learn some real skills. If you don't have any real skills, it will be very difficult to survive. The two of them nodded, expressing that they would definitely learn communication skills from Triangle Eyes. They would strive to learn how to deal with things in this precious learning opportunity so that they could avoid taking detours in the future. Anyway, these two people flattered him all the way, and Triangle Eyes was not in the mood to pay attention to them. Finally, after returning to Ba Xiang, his ears could be considered to have some peace. When they arrived at the agreed place, the white mask was still the same arrogant white mask from yesterday. His attitude was still the same as yesterday. However, today, Triangle Eyes was not going to indulge his bad temper. Have you thought it through? If so, let's continue our discussion, said the triangular-eyed man. What are you thinking about? I've already called your boss. Your boss obviously wants this batch of goods. If you don't hurry up and complete the transaction, he will be anxious in the end. The white mask looked at Triangle Eyes coldly. Triangle Eyes waved his hand. Forget it. I don't think today's transaction will be successful. Are you trying to threaten me? Let me tell you. Since I dared to leave yesterday, I have a plan in my heart. Don't pretend to be a master with me. Do you think that you are the only one doing business in the entire port area? The white mask was instantly intimidated by Triangle Eyes. Let me tell you. Now, we know who is more anxious in our hearts. Triangle Eyes said as he glared fiercely at the white mask. He thought, everyone is out to do business. Why the F***ck are you pretending to be a boss for? He said it as if his boss would forgive him if this batch of goods could not be sold in time. 3% is impossible. The white mask did not wait for Triangle Eyes to continue and refused on the spot. Don't even think about it. I am anxious to sell this batch of goods, but I am not anxious to that point. You still don't want to talk to me. Triangle Eyes looked back at the two underlings and motioned to leave. The two guys panicked again, but the white mask was indeed more anxious than them. Before Triangle Eyes took 3 steps, he shouted, 2%. I will give you 2%. This is our bottom line. If you are still not satisfied, there is really nothing to talk about. 2%. Triangular Eyes smiled and stopped. Did you mention it when you called our boss? Of course I said it. The white mask said. Triangle Eyes nodded. Then I understand. It's good that you understand. Then hurry up. The white mask said, we will load the car. You determine the quantity, and then report to your boss. Let your boss transfer the money, and then you can drive away. Who are you going to sell it to? Triangle Eyes looked at the white mask with a puzzled look. What do you mean? Don't you understand? The white mask glared. We have already told your boss about the 2% reduction. Ha 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 ha, I understand. The one who doesn't understand is you. You told our boss about this, but our boss didn't tell me, so I still have to insist on 3 points. If our boss agreed, he would have given me the order when he called me, but he didn't say a word about this, so it means that he didn't agree, the triangular-eyed man said faintly. The white mask couldn't stand it anymore. You want to play with me? Play with you? Triangle Eyes looked up and down at the white mask. Sorry, I really don't have time to play with you. If I have time to play with you, I might as well go to the other two to talk about the price again. What do you mean? You don't understand? Triangle Eyes let out an almost disdainful laugh. Well, then I will make it clearer. Someone is willing to give me a price I want. Is this clear enough for you? When the white-masked man widened his eyes in shock and disbelief, the triangular-eyed man continued to say something that made the white-masked man begin to trust him. Although the goods are not as pure as yours, they are enough for me to bring back and sell at a good price. Triangle Eyes had a big trump card, that was, he could lie, but he could say it as if it were true. In this industry, no one would tell the truth. Everyone was just deceiving each other to see whose story was more likely to be true. You should be very clear that there will be no competitors for any goods we bring back, so we don't care. Even if the purity is not as high as yours, we can still sell it. There is really no problem. Triangle Eyes smiled slightly. The white mask's heart had begun to waver. Oh right. You haven't seen me before, have you? Triangle Eyes said again. Have you ever thought about why our boss arranged for me to come? It is because I have other goods that can help him save money. Purity is very important for goods. The white mask suddenly glared. If you don't get our goods, I promise you will regret it. Don't worry, we definitely won't. Triangle Eyes shook his head. We don't use it for ourselves. We don't care about the purity, as long as it is the same blue ice. There is no problem with the appearance, and everything else is fine. The white mask shook his head inconceivably. Impossible. It's impossible. Only we have blue ice. Think about it carefully. What was the boss's attitude when you contacted him? Triangle Eyes said lightly. If you can understand his mentality under this attitude, I think you will know that I am right. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. My time is also very precious. For the same price, I will definitely choose the one with higher purity. After all, we have worked together for so many years. We don't want to change trading partners. The white mask was forced to say a word by Triangle Eyes. I will give you an hour to think about it. If you can't make the decision, please contact someone who can make the decision to see me as soon as possible. Triangle Eyes smiled slightly. Our boss has given me the deadline to go back, so if you can't give me an answer within an hour, I must order from other companies as soon as possible. I am also out to do things. I hope you will not make it difficult for me. Chapter 35-25. The white-masked man couldn't hold it in anymore. To be honest, he was indeed intimidated by the triangular-eyed man. He was under a lot of pressure. He had been holding on to the 9 kilograms goods for a day. The boss was furious. If he let the other party go today, he might as well quit his job. Under the strong pressure, he had to call the boss for instructions. After the boss picked up the phone, the white-masked man said carefully, "Boss. How's it going? Is it settled?" A low voice said slowly, "Things didn't go well." The white-masked man kept a cautious attitude. They seemed to have another supplier. What? Another supplier? The white-masked man could hear that the boss was a little angry. "Yes, boss. Because the other party's price is lower than ours, they insisted on 3% lower before they were willing to take the goods. Of course, they also admitted that the purity of the other party's goods is not as high as ours. I think they went to look at other people's goods yesterday. What's there to talk about if the purity is different? It's not the same kind of goods, so the price is naturally different. They won't give up blue ice to save money. But the other party seems to have blue ice too." The white-masked man was not confident. The appearance is the same. At this moment, the big boss suddenly became nervous. Was it also Lon Bing? He had heard about the high-quality imitation of blue ice in North America. It was said that it was the same kind of goods, both blue. Although there was a slight difference in purity, it was almost comparable. This matter had a huge impact on the market in North America, but he never expected that this batch of goods would appear in Asia so quickly. If this was true, then the impact on him would obviously be huge. This kind of thing was very likely to happen, so it was a huge impact for him. When the boss fell silent, the white-masked man didn't dare to speak. He carefully waited for the boss's reply. There was no way to determine whether the boss's reply would be angry or something else. However, after half a minute, the boss finally spoke. There was no anger, not even any emotion. "Bring them to the club to find me. Now." The white-masked man was stunned. He didn't expect the boss to make a decision so quickly. "When do you think is suitable? Should we talk to them when they transfer the money to someone else?" The white-masked man was shocked by the boss's understatement and broke out in a cold sweat. Although the boss's voice was emotionless, his words were already very unhappy. "Good. I'll bring them to see you right away," the white-masked man said respectfully. After ending the call with the boss, the white-masked man stood in front of Triangle Eyes and the other two again. "Our boss wants to see you." "I told you I don't have time," Triangle Eyes said bluntly. "Didn't he tell you about the price? If you can't agree to this price, I really don't have time to waste. The boss invited you to discuss the price with you." The white-masked man lost his imposing manner in front of the triangular-eyed man. "I believe that if you go and meet the boss, you will definitely get a satisfactory price." Triangular Eyes chuckled. "I like trading with straightforward people, so I hope your boss won't disappoint me. Please rest assured that our boss will not let you down." The white-masked man said calmly, "You will definitely get a satisfactory price." Triangle Eyes glanced at the white-masked man with a suspicious look, but he was already very sure that this business would definitely satisfy him. "Well, then I'll give you a chance." Triangle Eyes nodded. "I hope you won't let us down. Your boss knows very well how many goods can be taken away through us every year. He will definitely not let us down." The white-masked man didn't face Triangle Eyes' words, but said, "Then let's go now. I'll drive you there." Cho Yun had no way to safely and timely track them, so she simply chose to stay and wait. After all, this batch of goods would eventually be loaded here, and the 3 cars would also drive away from this place. So as long as she didn't leave here, Triangle Eyes and the others would definitely come back again. This was a fairly good club. The other party dared to talk about business here, which meant that this was an absolutely safe place. It was very likely that the other party's own property. After Triangle Eyes and the others were brought by the white-masked man, someone came forward to receive them as soon as they got out of the car. The white-masked man didn't continue to go with them. The three of them were quickly taken to a luxurious room. What Triangle Eyes didn't expect was that the boss looked so young. He was less than 30 years old, but his aura was quite strong. Triangle Eyes felt a sense of pressure as soon as he came in. "Hello." The young boss raised his head with a relaxed smile on his face. He sat on the sofa and looked at the three of them calmly. "It's the first time we meet. Let me introduce myself. My name is Gua Tianxing." "Hello, Mr. Gua." Triangle Eyes walked forward. "My name is—" "Please sit down." Gua Tianxing didn't mean to let him continue talking. He pointed to the sofa opposite him and said, "Let's sit down and talk slowly." Gua Tianxing had no interest in Triangle Eyes' name. In his eyes, these people were just henchmen, pawns used by Big Head. They were nothing at all. In the face of such a strong aura, Triangle Eyes didn't know how to lead the conversation at all. This had always been his strength, but in front of a person with a strong aura, he had to restrain himself. Fortunately, Triangle Eyes didn't completely lose himself. He still knew what he needed to persist in. Triangle Eyes sat down. The two guys behind him had long been suppressed by this strong aura and didn't know what to do. They carefully stood behind Triangle Eyes with their arms crossed. With these two guys behind him, Triangle Eyes felt that he wasn't so weak in terms of aura, so he directly tried to cut to the chase. "Mr. Gua, then what would you like to drink?" Gua Tianxing interrupted Triangle Eyes again. This was his territory, so he especially didn't like to be led by the nose. This was very important to him. Triangle Eyes, who was interrupted again, lost his temper instantly. He immediately understood how strong Gua Tianxing's desire to control was. At this time, he would be asking for trouble if he tried to take the initiative to talk and set the pace. "Anything." Triangle Eyes replied faintly. Gua Tianxing smiled and picked up his glass of red wine, swirling it as he said, "I have red wine from France's Bordeaux Chateau Pedro, as well as red wine from California's Heelan Winery in California's Napa Valley, champagne from Marne Valley and Lance Mountain, whiskey from Macallan, and by the way, Ado 1840 cognac." After swirling the red wine, Gua Tianxing raised his head and took a sip. "You can choose any of these wines. Because I don't have anything here. I've never heard of what anything is. Is there anything in this world?" "Yes. Of course there is." Dazhuang was baffled. "Mr. Gua, we have an ice cream called anything in the inland. It's quite delicious. I like it a lot." An inexplicable sense of irritation rose in Gua Tianxing's heart. Someone actually brought this idiot as a follower? This was simply unreasonable. Triangle Eyes also raised his head and gave Dazhuang a look that said, "Shut up." Dazhuang quickly lowered his head and stopped talking. Gua Tianxing naturally wouldn't pay attention to an idiot follower. "Then I'll have a taste of Mr. Gua's 1840 Ado cognac." Triangle Eyes' every word was said after careful consideration. He knew that he couldn't speak carelessly. "Good taste." Gua Tianxing smiled and snapped his fingers at the waiter standing at the door. It was an order. The wine was quickly served, but it wasn't opened. "I really like the taste of this wine." Gua Tianxing held the bottle and smiled. "Did you know that Ado is one of the largest cognac wineries in France? It has a history of 150 years. In the beginning, in order to pursue the perfect taste and extremely high quality, the winemaker stored some cognac in glass jars sealed with wax. Many of them are still in good condition. This 1840 vintage cognac can be said to be quite good. Mr. Gua is someone who understands wine. Naturally, your taste is extraordinary." Triangle Eyes smiled in agreement. Chapter 35-26. "Ha ha ha, I like what you said because I know wine." Gua Tianxing suddenly laughed. "Do you know how much this bottle of wine costs?" Triangle Eyes shook his head. "This bottle of wine costs no less than $10,000 in France. In the Asia-Pacific region, its price is 3 times higher. Gua Tianqing's expression suddenly became serious. If you want to drink this wine on the mainland, I'm afraid it costs at least $35,000 per bottle. Triangle Eyes was silent. He didn't know how to respond, but he had a very bad premonition. Dazhuang and Skinny were shocked by the price of the wine. $35,000? Oh my God, what kind of concept was this? An intermediate car was gone. Who could afford it? This small sip was enough for them to earn a month's worth of money. At this moment, Gua Tianqing's attitude suddenly changed. This bottle of wine is so expensive. Do you think I'll treat you? Triangle Eyes realized what the other party was going to say. The money he saved by asking for a lower price was probably only enough to buy a bottle and a half of wine. If Gua Tianqing was willing to open this bottle for him, he wouldn't care about that little bit of money. Of course, if the price of a batch of goods was low, a few $100,000 was nothing to Gua Tianqing. However, once the price was lowered, it would be lower in the future. If it was a long-term deal, Gua Tianqing would lose at least a few million. This was the reason why Gua Tianqing was really conflicted about the price. Therefore, he was very unhappy with Triangle Eyes now. No one would like a person who made you lose a few $1,000,000 per year. Mr. Gua, we've considered this price. Triangle Eyes knew that he couldn't let the other party continue to be so strong. If this continued, he was afraid that he wouldn't have a chance to turn things around. When I do business, I emphasize quality. Today, you took a product that's not as good as mine and compared the price with me. This makes me very disappointed. Gua Tianqing's mood calmed down again. I've always appreciated working with you, but this time, this is our head's decision. Triangle Eyes also interrupted Gua Tianqing. Although it was a bit risky, it was also the best opportunity to express his request for a lower price. Gua Tianqing was speechless. He couldn't remember the last time someone interrupted him. I know that Mr. Gua is a man of principles, but the competition in the market is very strong now, and our survival has become difficult. Triangular Eyed said, for so many years, we've been receiving a lot of goods. In some ways, we've also relieved some of Mr. Gua's pressure, so I think it's time for us to talk. You've been in this business for a long time, haven't you? Why haven't I seen you before? Gua Tianqing changed the topic very quickly. Do you know that you're better at doing business than anyone else before you? The triangular-eyed man smiled faintly. Since Mr. Gua said so, I'll take it as a compliment. That's right, I'm praising you. I've never praised anyone like I'm praising you. Gua Tianqing sneered. I really appreciate you. If possible, I even hope that you can work under me. I lack helpers like you. This was sarcasm. However, Dazhuang and Skinny didn't hear it at all. They even thought that Gua Tianqing was really praising their boss. They couldn't help but smile. They admired him. A talent was a talent. He could survive anywhere. It seemed that as long as they worked hard for Third Brother, they wouldn't have to worry about not being able to make a living. However, Triangular Eyed could hear Gua Tianqing's anger towards him, so he could only transfer his resentment to Big Head. I'm just trying to make a living. Our boss makes all the decisions on these matters. He's the one who really knows how to do business. I can't be compared to him at all. You're too humble. Gua Tianqing clapped his hands. You know very well what I'm thinking. That's why you dared to make such a decision. You came to me without any scruples because you knew that I would agree to your request. Am I right? Yes. Triangular Eyed answered directly. However, I still hope that Mr. Gua can understand that I, a brother who works for others, have no right to make decisions. If I could buy this batch of goods at the original price, I wouldn't be wasting Mr. Gua's time here. Gua Tianqing smiled slightly. Good, very good. You're throwing all the decisions to your boss. This is the truth. Triangular Eyed said seriously, if I were the boss, I wouldn't care about losing quality because of this small amount of money. However, our boss is different. He's a person who puts profit first. He doesn't care about business relationships. Mr. Gua should understand this. Gua Tianqing was stunned. The triangular-eyed man sighed. I'm saying this because I feel the same way. I used to work alone. Before something happened to me, my status was equal to the boss. I've always had a cooperative relationship with him. Then why are you working for him? Gua Tianxing was immediately interested. A tiger fell from the sky. Because of some circumstances, I was forced to lose everything. Triangular-eyed said, if I still want to survive, I have to do what I'm doing now. I can only work for the boss. Otherwise, there's no place for me. Since you were in a cooperative relationship before, he wouldn't make you an underling, would he? Gua Tianxing was puzzled. This is the boss's character. He doesn't care about these relationships. Triangular-eyed said, that's why I want to tell Mr. Gua. Don't think that just because you've worked with the boss for many years, he will care about relationships. This stab in the back was really ruthless. What Triangular-eyed was doing now was to pave the way for his own future. Once his time was ripe and he could do something alone, he could directly take away the big boss's supply. At that time, Gua Tianxing would definitely be willing to cooperate with him. If it were me, I wouldn't ruin everyone's relationship because of this small benefit. It's not worth it. Triangular-eyed's words were very beautiful. The most important thing is that everyone can do business happily and safely. As for the benefits, it's fine as long as everyone can make money. Why ruin the mood for this small amount of money? Gua Tianxing suddenly had a good impression of Triangular-eyed. I really hope that the person doing business with me is you. I also like partners who can do business happily. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint Mr. Gua. I'm just an underling with no power. I'm just an underling who does things according to the boss's orders. Triangular-eyed knew that he played the right emotional card. Gua Tianxing frowned. If you're this kind of person, I believe that you'll be promoted sooner or later. Mr. Gua, if this batch of goods can't be completed smoothly, I won't be able to continue working here, let alone being promoted. Triangular-eyed said, the boss gave me a deadline. If I can't bring this batch of goods back on time... I know. Triangular-eyed made a helpless expression. That's why I hope Mr. Gua won't blame me. I have no choice. Since the price isn't right, I can only go to other companies to solve the problem. This is also what our boss wants, so I have to do it. Good. Gua Tianxing suddenly slapped the table. I'll give you this batch of goods. The price will be as you said. Remember, this is me giving you face. We'll be working together for a long time. I hope that when you become a leader one day, you'll remember the face I gave you today. Triangular-eyed knew what Gua Tianxing meant. He stood up and bowed. Thank you, Mr. Gua. You don't have to be polite with me. In fact, this business is only a small part of all my businesses. Gua Tianxing said, I don't want to waste too much energy. I don't need to say more about why I agreed to this price. I don't need to make it up. You know it in your heart. Yes. Gua Tianxing waved his hand. Then it's settled. When will you leave with the car? We must leave tomorrow morning. Triangular-eyed said. Gua Tianxing faintly said, then have fun in my club today. All the expenses will be on me. You can let them arrange whatever kind of girls you like. I still have other things to do, so I'll take my leave first. Before dawn tomorrow, I'll have the car ready. Thank you, Mr. Gua. Triangular-eyed didn't refuse Gua Tianxing's hospitality. Gua Tianxing got up and left. He didn't have time to take care of the rest of the business. He left it all to White Mask. In fact, Gua Tianxing and Triangular-eyed both had their own long-term plans, so the two of them solved this problem. Chapter 35-27. The next morning, Triangle Eyes and his two men were brought back to Ba Xiang's garage by White Mask before dawn. Cho Yun didn't know where Triangle Eyes and his men went that night, but she saw everything that happened in the garage clearly. Under the cover of the night, they removed all the inner panels of the doors of the 3 water wheels that were about to enter the inland. Then, they used tape to stick the transparent bags with blue ice inside the doors. As long as the inner panels were reinstalled, there would be no trace of them at all. People's imagination was always so rich. They could even think of such a method. This really opened Cho Yun's eyes. When the eastern sky turned white, Triangle Eyes and his men appeared in front of Cho Yun again. They quickly went to check the blue ice hidden in the cars. After Triangle Eyes confirmed the number, the other party quickly reinstalled the inner panels of the doors. Triangle Eyes didn't care how early it was. He immediately contacted Big Head and told him that the price was settled. He asked him to pay immediately. They needed to go back now. Because this kind of car couldn't blatantly drive back, they had to take a long detour and pass through some very remote and complicated places before they could circle back to the Huang River. Therefore, they had to set off immediately in order to make it back before nightfall. Although it was still early, some of the garages had already started their business. Many people took advantage of the early morning to drive their cars away. Cho Yun realized that they were leaving. She couldn't help but frown. At this time, she needed a car to keep up with them. Fortunately, there was always a way out. Coincidentally, a local water wheel business stopped his BMW X6 on the side of the road. He closed the door and hurriedly ran to do something. Cho Yun saw that Triangle Eyes and the others were about to get in the car and leave. She quickly walked to the BMW parked on the street. The car didn't even have a license plate. Obviously, it was also a water wheel. Although Cho Yun was not good at picking locks, she was an assassin after all. Stealing a car was not a problem for her at all. Cho Yun walked over and took a piece of wire. She circled it in the middle and came to the side of the car. She pulled the car door hard and pulled the wire into the car door bit by bit. After some simple adjustments, she wrapped the wire in the middle around the small rod that was used to lock the car. She tightened the wire with both hands and pulled it up with force. The car door was opened instantly. Cho Yun threw away the wire in her hand and got into the car. She bent down and took out a few wires under the steering wheel. After finding the right wires, she started the engine and started the car. At this time, Triangle Eyes and the other two drove out 3 separate cars. Cho Yun smoothly turned the car around and followed them. There were at least a dozen water wheels on the road, so Triangle Eyes and the others didn't suspect Cho Yun's car at all. Cho Yun didn't have a hard time following them along the way. The road was too bad, so she couldn't speed up. In addition, there were other water wheels that flowed inland as cover. Cho Yun didn't have any danger of being exposed at all. The only hard thing was the tiredness of driving for a long time. They walked for almost 16 hours without stopping to rest. The car would enter Huangjiang in another hour. Cho Yun contacted Su Yun again and explained the situation to Su Yun and the others. Su Yun saw that the matter was settled, so he arranged for the infantry to contact Big Head again. He told Big Head that the boss was very satisfied with his work style, so he came to Huangjiang to meet him. He also wanted to see if there were any cars in his garage. If there were any cars, he would take them all in one go. Big Head was almost stunned when he heard the news. Happiness came too suddenly. It was so sudden that he didn't know how to accept it. Moreover, the infantry also emphasized that the time was squeezed out by the boss, so he must let Big Head meet him. Big Head had just contacted Triangle Eyes and vacated the assembly factory. He was waiting for the car to arrive in an hour so that he could pick up the goods immediately. At first, Big Head wanted to refuse, but he thought that there weren't many opportunities to connect with such a rich man. In the end, he agreed to meet him now. Su Yun tidied up his hair and dressed up like the boss. Then, he let the infantry take him to the assembly factory to meet Big Head. Team Leader 2 and Little Lu were also waiting outside the assembly factory. There were only 2 doors in the assembly factory. Su Yun specially purchased 4 claw nails and asked Team Leader 2 and Little Lu to scatter the nails on the road after Triangle Eye's car entered the assembly factory. Scatter a lot. The density of the factory car's tire. This could prevent them from driving away. As for Huazi, he was on standby with Blackhead. Blackhead would be the one to find the drugs later. After all, they didn't know if there were other drugs hidden in the assembly factory. After everything was arranged properly, Su Yun and the infantrymen came to the Big Head assembly factory with a swagger. Big Head came to greet them excitedly. After seeing Su Yun, he didn't expect him to be so young. But for Big Head, the younger the better. He liked to deal with young people. Young people were impulsive and easy to get in touch. People in this society were like this. The longer they lived, the more cunning they were and the harder it was to deal with them. I have heard of your name for a long time. Big Head smiled and shook hands with Su Yun. Although he said so, he didn't know what Su Yun's name was. The infantry didn't tell him. Now that they met so suddenly, he was a bit embarrassed. Although he didn't know his name, it wasn't convenient for him to ask directly. It would seem disrespectful. I am a few years older. Do you mind if I call you brother? Of course not. Su Yun said straightforwardly. The infantrymen have already told me. Boss is always a straightforward person, and I like to make friends with straightforward people. I naturally understand the price you gave me for those 3 cars, so I won't say thank you here. We'll be friends in the future, so let's work together more often. This was what Big Head wanted to hear. Su Yun looked at the assembly factory and continued to say to Big Head, Boss, this place is very good. Ha ha ha, I want to see how many cars you have now. I also need them now. Let me tell you, I want as many as you have. Big Head's heart was about to fly away. Because it is convenient to sell. You also know my situation. The infantry should have told you that I am just doing business for the girl. So the price doesn't need to be too expensive. Su Yun, cars around $1 million are the best. Because the price of those cars is more acceptable. I understand. Big Head nodded. Now, I have 6 tails of the cars you are talking about. Brother, are you going to take them all at once? Only 6. Su Yun's face showed a very disappointed expression. Boss, if it is convenient, take me to have a look. Okay. The garage is over there. Big Head quickly walked in front to lead the way. After arriving at the garage, Su Yun looked at the 6 cars. The cars are very good. Very good. Infantry, take a look. If there is nothing wrong with them, I will take them all. Brother, you are indeed a straightforward person. Big Head smiled from ear to ear. Boss, I am a straightforward person. Some words may not be pleasant to hear. Please don't mind. Su Yun's foppish aura was quite realistic. 6 cars really aren't enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. I thought Chief would have at least a dozen cars. It's too little, really too little. This makes me a little disappointed. When Big Head heard this, he knew that Big Head was doubting his strength. He immediately explained, that's because a few cars just left today. But brother, don't worry. In the future, as long as you want a car, I'll keep it for you. Oh right. I still have 3 cars on the way. They will be in the garage tonight. When they arrive, I will ask people to clean them up. If you want them, you can take them with you. Then I will take them all, Su Yun said straightforwardly, not to mention 3 cars. Even if you give me 6 cars now, I will take them all together. I have said that I like to do business with straightforward people. When doing business with straightforward people, you don't need to worry about the price. In a while, I will ask you to give me a good price. You can rest assured about this. Big Head promised. I have promised Abing before. As long as we cooperate, I can guarantee that it will be a win-win situation for all of us. I will definitely let you rest assured about this business. This is the most basic guarantee I can give you. Su Yun nodded. Okay. Boss, I will believe whatever you say. When will the 3 cars you mentioned arrive? Can you let the infantry check the cars tonight? No problem. Big Head said, you can rest assured that the cars will arrive soon. I promise you that you will check the cars tonight. Chapter 35-28. Su Yun's main purpose now was to calculate the 3 cars that were coming in. In this case, Big Head definitely wanted to pull him, a big customer. Therefore, he would drive the 3 cars in to disassemble and reassemble them regardless of the people in the assembly factory. As long as he took out the goods, he could immediately deliver the cars. It wouldn't take long, so Big Head was willing to take the risk. Boss, I have another question. Su Yun said, I want to know how many cars we can have a transaction flow every month in the future. You know what I mean. I want a strong partner. Su Yun said this now just to distract Big Head. He didn't want him to think about whether it would be troublesome to disassemble the goods when there were people around. At this moment, Big Head's mind was completely immersed in the whirlpool of money. For him, the current situation was too optimistic. Triangular-Eyed had just dropped the price by 3%, and here came another rich man who could buy limitless cars. As long as you have a demand, I can get as many cars as you want. Big Head said, you can rest assured about this. With sufficient funds, I guarantee that 20 cars per month won't be a problem. 20 cars doesn't seem to be a lot. Su Yun shook his head. If you can guarantee between 30 to 40 cars, then it will be better. That many? Big Head's original estimate was already very high, but he didn't expect that the estimate he gave was actually less than half. This sounded a bit like a fantasy. To be honest, Big Head didn't believe it. Su Yun wanted results. He wanted to make him doubt and confuse him. When Triangular-Eyed came, Big Head couldn't think about the situation over there. He would only think about how much profit there was here. Boss, you don't seem to believe in my strength. Su Yun smiled unhappily. If I don't have this strength, then do you think I will personally come to you to talk about the business between us? No, brother, don't misunderstand me. I absolutely don't doubt you. Big Head hurriedly explained, I've never encountered such a huge sales volume in a month, so I'm really surprised. Su Yun smiled disdainfully, Boss, is this a big sale? It depends on who's doing it, and the stronger you are, the higher your sales will be. Big Head nodded. Because he had a preconceived judgment of Su Yun's identity, he placed Su Yun's identity in a very high regard. Naturally, he would view Su Yun in a higher regard. Boss, you may not know what my strength is like, but I believe that after we have a few transactions, you will understand why I dare to say this. Su Yun said with some pride, at least among the people I know, no one has done more in this area than me. And when I do this business, no one dares to not give me face. This is natural. Big Head nodded and said with a smile, I believe it must be like this. Su Yun glanced at Big Head. Boss, in fact, you don't have to agree with me like this. If you feel uncomfortable, you can say it. We are cooperating. Anything can be solved, right? Yes. Big Head heard Su Yun's words, and his mood calmed down a lot. I still have the same words. Brother, if you feel that 20 is not enough, then I will give you 30. As long as you need, I have an endless supply of cars. With this, I am relieved. Su Yun laughed. Boss, you can rest assured. As long as you have an endless supply of cars, I can guarantee that you will have an endless supply of money into your pocket. Big Head certainly liked to hear this. If the capital flow was fast, he didn't mind buying more than a dozen cars every month. This was not a problem for him at all. In the past, it was considered good for him to buy 10 cars every month, so the amount of blue ice in his hands was always limited. After all, the amount of blue ice a car could carry was very small. Now, what was the concept of having more than a dozen cars every month? If it was done well, he could even sell more than 20 cars. That meant that he could earn more than 50% of the money in the blue ice business. If Gua Tiansheng knew that he would double or even more every month in the future, not to mention 3%, even if it was 5%, he would be willing to reduce it. When he thought of this, Big Head couldn't suppress the excitement of the cells in his body. At this time, an underling hurriedly ran to Big Head's side and whispered to him, They are back. Big Head instantly became spirited. Boss, what's the matter? Why are you so secretive that you can't share it with us? Su Yun guessed the situation, but he deliberately asked, If you think it is inconvenient, I will not disturb you. I hate it when others disturb me when I have something to do, so I will never disturb others when they have something to do. No. Brother, don't misunderstand. I am fine. Big Head was now afraid that Su Yun would be unhappy and stop the business. It's just that the 3 cars are here. That's good. The 3 cars are here. Then let's go and have a look. Su-yun. Big Head quickly waved his hand and said, "No, no, brother. I will ask someone to clean up the car and then drive it over. It is dirty now. I am afraid that you will dirty your shoes if you go." "Boss, I am not such a hypocritical person." Su-yun waved his hand. "Let's not talk about this between us. Anyway, I want the car. Is it okay if I go and have a look?" "This is unlucky." Big Head casually made up a story. "I will ask someone to remove the bad luck from the cars just brought over." Su-yun laughed out loud. "Chief, you're too superstitious. Do you know me? I don't believe that cars have bad luck. Even if there's bad luck, it's on the people in the cars. How about this? Let the brothers who brought the cars back find a place to stay first. I don't like the bad luck on them, but I'm not afraid of the bad luck on the cars. I just want to see what the cars look like. Could it be that these 3 cars are too inferior, so Chief doesn't dare to let me see them?" "Of course not." Big Head denied. Big Head, make high-quality cars. I have a good reputation in this circle. You can ask Abing. Abing is very clear about my personal reputation. Then let me take a look. Boss, the more you don't let me see it, the more curious I am. Su-yun, let me take a look, and then you will remove the bad luck for me. Then I will be relieved." "Okay." Big Head gritted his teeth and agreed. Who asked him to be a big customer? It would not be a big deal even if he took a look. After all, Su-yun would not touch the interior of the car door. Su-yun reminded him, "Don't forget to let the unlucky people leave first. I care about this very much." Big Head's face was a little embarrassed and a little surprised. However, he was still very willing to let his underlings tell Triangle Eyes and the rest to go to the lounge. Triangle Eyes and the 2 underlings left immediately after receiving the order. This obviously made them very unhappy, especially De Zhuang and Xiao Shou. "Is it easy for us to get that guy out? He is so tired, and he actually wants us to wait." De Zhuang said, "Third bro, this is too unfair. My opponent is too disappointed. At least give us a welcome dinner. At the very least, give us some supper. There is nothing. He doesn't even want to see us." "Boss, there is business over there." Triangle Eyes said, "Since there is business, we can't disturb it. So we should just listen to orders." This is really annoying. De Zhuang's heart was a million times uncomfortable. The 3 of them were brought to the lounge and told to wait for Big Head. Once Big Head was done with his business over there, he would immediately come to see them. Xiao Shou's mind was filled with money. "Say, the money we saved from this batch of goods, when will boss give it to us?" "That will depend on when boss earns money from this batch of goods." De Zhuang was also tempted by money. Only Triangle Eyes did not speak. He knew that this was an illusory thing. Big Head would not give it to him. Chapter 35-29. Triangle Eyes was thinking about how to usurp Big Head's position. He was not in the mood to care about other things. It could be said that Su-yun came to the car dismantling factory under the eyes of Triangle Eyes. Big Head did not allow anyone to come to this place. Big Head gave Su-yun a lot of face by letting him in. Big Head, of course, wanted to let Su-yun see his strength. "Boss, your place is really good. Su-yun, can you fix any car?" "Of course." Big Head said, "I don't dare to say about other fields, but I am absolutely good at fixing cars." "What can I fix for those cars that have been in big accidents?" Su-yun looked at Big Head and asked, "You also know that many of my friends are quite violent when it comes to cars, so many cars have been damaged." Big Head was stunned for a moment. "Of course, I can fix those damaged cars. I can even fix them to the point that they are almost invisible on the surface. But what?" Su-yun asked. "But cars that have been in big accidents usually leave traces on the girder. It is difficult to completely repair them. Even if my technology is very advanced, there will still be traces left." Big Head said, "The most important thing is that there are more safety risks in repairing cars. Because the body structure and girder data have changed after the repair, this is something that can't be fixed by any technology. So it is easy to cause the tire to deviate during use. Also, some difficult problems such as the steering wheel not returning to its original position are basically difficult to completely repair. Soo-yoon nodded. It seems that boss is still very professional. I am indeed more professional here. Cars that have been in big accidents can basically be restored to their original appearance, but the strength of the body of the car will not be as strong as before. Once such a car encounters a traffic accident, the consequences will be unimaginable. Big Head said, "Your friends all like to play with cars. People who can damage a car must be very violent. It is too dangerous to drive such a car." "Of course I won't drive it myself," Soo-yoon laughed. "Who would keep a car that was under major repair? Naturally, I'll resell it. Even if you resell it, it's not worth much. Moreover, you have to take into account the cost of repairing it. Even if it's $1 million car, if you sell it after you resell it, after deducting the cost of repairing it, you'll only be left with a few tens of thousands of yuan. To a very small extent. Each car costs tens of thousands of yuan. If we buy 100 cars a year, we can save at least a few million yuan." Soo-yoon nodded his head indifferently. "But that's true. A few million isn't a big deal. Forget it. Just pretend I didn't ask. It's better to just throw it away as scrap metal. I can keep it." Big Head's eyes lit up. "It's definitely better than throwing it away as scrap metal." Soo-yoon glanced at Big Head. "Are you willing to do this? I don't think it's necessary for a few million. I am running an assembly business. This kind of thing is my specialty." Big Head smiled. "If possible, I will definitely give you a satisfactory price." "Okay. You don't have to discuss this matter with me. When the time comes, I will throw the scrapped cars to the infantry. You can contact him." As Soo-yoon spoke, he opened the door of the car that had just been driven back. He muttered to himself, "Why does this door feel a little heavy?" Big Head swallowed a mouthful of saliva. There was poison hidden in the door panel, so the door would naturally be heavier. However, the two front doors were only heavier by 800 grams each, and the back door was heavier by 700 grams each. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to notice it, right? Big Head naturally didn't dare to answer. Nowadays, people are playing with body weight reduction. Don't foreign countries want to use this technology? Soo-yoon sized up the car inside and out. He knew that there was something fishy about the car door, so he deliberately said that. Body weight reduction wasn't simply reducing the weight of the car. Under the premise of ensuring the strength and safety of the car body, the weight of the car body should be reduced as much as possible. At the same time, the manufacturing cost of the car body should be within a reasonable range. Therefore, this technology had been used a long time ago in foreign countries. These luxurious water wheels would generally use this technology. By the way, this car wasn't soaked in water, right? Soo-yoon saw that Big Head didn't answer the question. He lowered his head and looked at the muddy water on the wheels of the three cars. "This is definitely not the case." Big Head immediately said with certainty, "Once the car is soaked in water, the circuit and electrical appliances will be seriously damaged. You must know that many cars now have an electronic control system inside. After soaking in water, not only will the electrical appliances in the electronic control system be affected, but it will also leave hidden dangers in the future, such as poor contact and other faults. In serious cases, it will even burn due to a short circuit. I definitely know that after soaking in water, the body parts of the car will be seriously corroded." Soo-yoon nodded. "But if you don't take the car apart and look at some parts, it seems that it is very difficult to determine if the car is soaked in water." Big Head smiled and said, "Don't worry about this. My cars are all made by my old friend. We have been working together for many years, so the cars are definitely fine. He won't give me a car with a problem. I only make quality cars." "Boss, you don't mind if I take the car apart, right?" Soo-yoon had already started to do it as he spoke. The moment Big Head was stunned, Soo-yoon removed the interior panel of the car door with a click. He did it empty-handed without using any tools. This was also very skillful. 8 bags of crystal-clear blue ice were taped on the interior of the car door. Each bag was 100 grams, and they were lined up vertically inside the car door. At this moment, Big Head collapsed. Who knew that this guy would suddenly open the interior panel of the car door? What kind of situation was this? It made him completely speechless. The atmosphere at the scene instantly froze. Even the foot soldiers didn't expect Brother Yun to be so direct. He didn't have the slightest intention of being polite. Su Yun didn't say anything, and Big Head didn't know what to say. He had many thoughts in his mind. Pretend to be stupid? Or admit it directly? Ask people to unload the goods as soon as possible? Big Head really didn't know what to choose. The tense atmosphere became more and more tense. What is this situation? Su Yun was the first to break the silence. Boss, what is this thing? It doesn't seem to be in the car, right? Is it used to balance the weight? I really don't know what's going on. Big Head tried to muddle through by pretending that he didn't know anything. Brother, these cars are water trucks that came in from the outside. You also know that we don't know what the condition of the car was before. So, it is normal that there are some things in the car that we don't know about. Su Yun nodded and reached out to pull down a bag of blue ice. So, boss, you don't know what this thing is? No. I don't know. Of course, I don't know. Big Head said, just now, when I asked someone to clean up the car, I also wanted to check if there are any of these things in the car. If there are, I will remove them first and then give the car to you. But you are in a hurry to look at the car, so Boss. Su Yun had already opened the bag of blue ice. These things, this isn't the first time you found them, right? Yes. There are all kinds of things. Big Head nodded. Last time, I found a check and a pistol hidden in the door of a car. Maybe that car belongs to an FBI agent. Su Yun waved to the footman. Go, remove all the doors. I want to see if there are any strange things in these cars. Big Head immediately panicked. Brother, just leave this to me. There are people in charge of checking these things. Let's go to the office and sit down and talk. Don't look at these dirty things here. Out of sight, out of mind. Wait. Su Yun shook the bag of blue ice in his hand. Boss, it seems you haven't explained what this thing is. Go, bring the trash over. Don't dirty my brother's hands. Big Head angrily scolded the footman beside him. However, before the footman ran over, Su Yun suddenly raised his hand. Wait a minute. I'm afraid this matter is not that simple. Boss, if you don't explain what this thing is, do you think I will dare to take this car? Just throw these things away. Don't worry about it. Big Head's forehead was sweating. Su Yun raised his hand and scattered the bag of blue ice. 100 grams. How much money is this? Big Head's mind buzzed. This was simply asking for his life. Chapter 35:30. Big Head couldn't stand it anymore. He shouted, Stop. Su Yun stopped and looked at Big Head. Boss, it's something that needs to be destroyed. Besides, I want all these cars. Can't I do whatever I want with the things in the cars? At this time, the foot soldier also removed the interior panel of the other door. He was a little nervous and scared as he said to Su Yun, There's something here too. Su Yun's behavior was a little too sudden and direct for the foot soldier. That was why the foot soldier felt a little guilty. After all, Su Yun was a person who did this kind of business. Naturally, he wasn't a person to be trifled with. People who did this kind of thing were all desperados. The foot soldier didn't dare to imagine what would happen later. Boss, I seem to have discovered some of your little secrets. Su Yun looked at Big Head with a provocative gaze. This isn't a small matter, right? Big Head's breathing was a little hurried. It was meaningless to deny it at this time. Brother, these things are indeed Big Brother's, but I promise that these things won't affect you. Su Yun threw away the bag with a little bit of blue ice residue and pulled out another bag from the car door. You promise that these things won't affect me? I promise, I can definitely guarantee it. Big Head saw Su Yun pull out another bag of goods. His heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. He was afraid that Su Yun would waste another bag for him. Su Yun looked at the things in his hand. Don't give me that, boss. Although I don't know what this is, I'm not a fool. I can guess. For such a small thing, you are willing to use such an expensive water wheel as a cover. Do you think I don't know what this is? Do you really think I'm a fool? I definitely wouldn't dare. Big Head hurriedly said, Brother, listen to me. It's definitely not what you think. Before I send the car to you, I will clean everything that shouldn't be left in the car. I promise that my car will be clean before it goes to you. Tell me what this is first. Su Yun said. Big Head was stunned. This. You don't even dare to admit it, and you want me to believe you? Su Yun sneered as he stared at Big Head. Hee hee, why should I believe you? Aren't you thinking too highly of yourself? All right, I'll tell you. But brother, please don't misunderstand me. I'm just helping others bring in some goods. Big Head said, I'll definitely not cooperate with those people in the future. What is it? Su Yun emphasized again. He needed Big Head to say it personally because he had a recording pen on him. The recording was all evidence. If Big Head refused to say anything, then it would be meaningless to drag him in. He could say what he said before and say that the blue ice was already in the car. He didn't know anything about it when it was brought in. At that time, it would be more difficult to convict him. Blue ice. Big Head said, It's a type of drug. Why is it blue? Su Yun asked again. Why is it different from the others? Have you seen the other ordinary goods? Big Head was stunned. If Su Yun was also a drug addict, then this matter would be much easier. Maybe his goods could be sold to him at a higher price. If he was really a drug addict, then Big Head would definitely let him try it. Boss, I'm the one asking you now. Su Yun stared at Big Head. Big Head said tentatively, I can guarantee that the purity of this blue ice is completely different from ordinary goods. If you want to try it, I can provide you with a safe place. Su Yun looked at Big Head and didn't say a word. He just stared at him until Big Head felt numb. All right, I understand what I should say and what I shouldn't say. Big Head shook his head and raised his hands to signal Su Yun to not be so nervous. This is high-purity ice developed by a smart chemical researcher. He is a person who deeply respects chemistry, so chemistry rewarded him. I don't want to listen to nonsense. Su Yun said, I just want to know how different this thing is. The crystal ice made by this smart person is a very rare high-purity blue ice, Big Head said. Su Yun shook his head. According to normal logic, the color of a crystal has nothing to do with its purity. Impure ores, such as quartz crystals, can be pink or violet. The color is the result of the material's electrons absorbing light. It doesn't represent its purity. Yes, it doesn't. But even if this blue ice has no color, it is much purer than ordinary goods. So now blue ice is a representation of high quality. Big Head said. High quality? Yes, blue ice is definitely a high-quality poison. Big Head said, It is much better than ordinary goods. If you need it, brother, you can try it. Hee hee. Su Yun threw it to Big Head and laughed. He thought to himself, Do you really think I am a fool? Big Head explained again, I really didn't mean to cause trouble for you, brother. I will deal with it very cleanly. Su Yun looked at Big Head and didn't speak for a long time. You just said that you brought these things for someone else. Who is that person? Boss, I remember I said that I like to cooperate with people with strength, so… Actually, these goods are all mine. Big Head suddenly changed his words. He didn't see any disgust from Su Yun. Su Yun nodded. You're the one who made all these? How many grams? If you didn't spill that bag, it would be exactly 9,000 grams. Big Head said bluntly. If Su Yun saw these as his strength, then he would definitely show it to the fullest. This would make Su Yun feel more at ease with him. Su Yun couldn't help but gasp when he heard this number. Boss, with these goods, even if I sentenced you to death 100 times, it wouldn't be wrong, right? Brother, no one will know what I do. Even if they know, they won't be able to find anything here. Big Head saw that Su Yun didn't have any resistance, but he was relieved. Even if the car was found halfway, who would think that there was something inside? If they found something inside, who can prove that it was mine? Su Yun gave a thumbs up. Boss, this move of yours is really powerful. You flatter me. Big Head shook his head. Brother, you saw what happened here, but we are friends after all. After all, we have a big cooperation in the future. I hope that we can be like before. You can pretend that you didn't see anything. But how can I pretend that I didn't see something that I saw? Su Yun smiled slightly. Big Head was stunned for a moment, but he quickly adjusted his mood. Well, if you think that you saw it, then I won't force you to pretend that you didn't see it. If you need it, I will give it to you. Give it to me? This? Su Yun realized that Big Head thought that he was a drug addict. Otherwise, he would definitely not say such words. Yes, as long as you need it, brother, come to me. I will definitely do it. Big Head said, if you want it, I will give you a pack. This pack was 100 grams, which was quite a large sum of money. However, Big Head did not feel any heartache at this time. He would just treat it as hush money. If the other party accepted it, it would almost mean that he would be able to control them in the future. Although 100 grams of blue ice was quite expensive, if he could achieve his goal, Big Head felt that the cost-performance ratio was still very high. Boss, this is a big deal. You're going to sell this thing in the country? Isn't 1 gram quite expensive? Su Yun asked. This is the wholesale price, so it is not so expensive. Big Head said, but if you want to buy it alone, the price is really not ordinary. It is at least 3 times the price of ordinary ice. As far as I know, in the big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, the price of 1 gram of blue ice can easily exceed 10,000 yuan. Then you give me 100 grams. That is over 1,000,000 yuan. Su Yun smiled slightly. I dare not accept such a big gift. Big Head replied very easily, because I want to be friends with you, so I am willing. I don't feel distressed at all. 100 grams. If I am caught by the police with it, it is enough to sentence me to death, right? Su Yun asked. It shouldn't be. Brother, you have a strong background. If I am caught, then it will be a death sentence. Big Head was very clear about how much responsibility he had to pay for what he had done. Su Yun's expression suddenly changed. Then why did you do this kind of thing? Chapter 35-31. Big Head was stunned for a moment. He didn't understand why Su Yun suddenly became serious. This expression made him feel a little soul-stirring. This tone also made him feel a little uneasy. As an old fox, his sixth sense was quite strong. Almost at the first moment when Su Yun turned hostile, Big Head realized that he had fallen into a trap. This damned infantryman wasn't here to buy a car from him at all. All of this was a huge fist. What the other party wanted was for him to bring in a batch of goods. Then, after this batch of goods was in his hands, he would be caught off guard. In that case, that bastard with the triangular eyes was also one of the other party's people? It was that bastard who brought him into such a trap. Damn! Big Head scolded. Are you AF** King Policeman? Su Yun shrugged his shoulders and smiled. I'm afraid you guessed wrong. Brothers, do it. Big Head ordered. Everyone present, including those who carried weapons, took out their weapons. Knives and sticks were nothing. The most dangerous thing was that some of Big Head's men at the scene had guns. Including Big Head quickly took out a pistol from his waist. However, the moment he took out the pistol, it was snatched away by Su Yun. Before Big Head's men with guns were ready, Su Yun pointed the pistol at Big Head's huge head. The infantryman was also very clever and hid in the car. Su Yun used the car as his back cover and carefully dealt with the men with guns in their hands. These people were all holding inland Type 92 guns. This type of gun should be the easiest to get. However, the gun that Su Yun snatched from Big Head's hand was different. It was a Swedish-made P226 pistol. Facing the pistols in the hands of the men, Su Yun didn't have much worry in his heart because they were 15 to 16 meters away from him. Because of Big Head's respect for him, he told his subordinates to stay far away so that they wouldn't disturb their conversation. After all, Su Yun had played with guns since he was a child, so he was very clear about the shooting range of a pistol. Although the effective shooting range of a Type 92 pistol was 50 meters, it wasn't that easy to hit a target within 50 meters. Everyone in the Dragon Brigade knew a simple truth. As long as they weren't facing a genius marksman, running in a straight line from 20 meters away would not kill them. Even if an Olympic champion played the 50-meter shooting game, in an environment where there was absolutely no interference and there was so much time to prepare, some people would still miss the target. Therefore, even if one had undergone professional training, there were still many people who missed the target under extremely tense circumstances within the 15-meter distance. Even Su Yun and the others from the Dragon Brigade would often miss their first shot when they were faced with a knife-wielding criminal who suddenly appeared a dozen meters away. Only those who were emotionally stable could accurately hit the target. Right now, Big Head's subordinates were so nervous that they didn't even dare to blink. At this time, the more they aimed, the harder it would be to hit the target. Moreover, how many of these guys had undergone professional training? It was even more impossible for them to be compared to those shooting experts who were fed bullets. Su Yun could even say without exaggeration that some of these people had never even fired a gun before. Big Head was in Su Yun's hands, so no one dared to shoot. Of course, Big Head didn't dare to let them shoot, or even let them aim. Without waiting for Su Yun to speak, Big Head had already howled, "Put down your guns! Everyone put down your guns!" Big Head was someone who had played with guns before, so he was very clear about how unreliable a pistol was in the hands of these guys. Indeed, there were many classics in TV and movies. For example, when catching an important criminal, they couldn't directly kill the target, only the legs or arms. Then the main character would hold a pistol and hit the target from tens of meters away. That was all nonsense. Unless it was a large gun with a very high accuracy, only a person at the level of a soldier king could achieve such a distance. Hit wherever you point. Those who had received training knew that a pistol was used in close combat. To be able to hit the target was already a hard-working expert. Accuracy was not even worth mentioning. Those who hadn't personally fired a gun would never understand the fear brought by the recoil and the explosion. Big Head didn't want to be hit by a bullet fired by his own people. If he died like that, it would be too unjust. Those who had played with guns knew that the target of a pistol's chest ring was 10 meters, 15 meters, and 20 meters. Compared to the target of a rifle's chest ring of 50 meters, 100 meters, and 200 meters, the distance was very far. Of course, these were all for ordinary people. If it was used on a perverted person like Su Yun, it would be hard to say. Su Yun had used a pistol to shoot a target of 50 meters, and he had hit 100 points with 10 consecutive shots. Everyone was different. Big Head's subordinates were worlds apart from Su Yun. Big Head could even guarantee that if he let these bastards shoot, 9 out of 10 bullets would miss. The remaining one would hit the target and hit himself. "Boss, don't you have too little trust in your own brothers?" Su Yun smiled slightly when he saw that the other party had put down their guns. The foot soldier's little heart that had been hanging in his chest slowly calmed down. At this time, Triangle Eyes and the others were completely unaware of what had happened in the factory. They were still in a bad mood, especially De Zhuang and Xiao Shou. The more they talked, the angrier they got. "Brother, let's talk nicely. Put down the gun first." Big Head's forehead was covered in beads of sweat. After Su Yun took the gun away from him, he heard the sound of the gun being loaded and the safety being released. The sound almost made him wet his pants. Su Yun's voice was still smiling. "Boss, this gun of yours is not bad. One look and I can tell that it's a gun expert's choice. Big Head swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Seeing that Su Yun had no intention of moving the gun away from his head, he did not dare to make any big movements. The distance was too close. It was only a few centimeters. Let alone a pistol, even a slingshot would be able to hit him accurately. Everyone says that the Beretta 92F is the best pistol. In fact, the overall performance of your gun is even better in some aspects. Su Yun chatted with great interest. He was stalling for time so that Team Leader Tu and Xiao Lu would have enough time to scatter the 4-claw nails all over the road. Big Head was not in the mood to chat. He kept swallowing his saliva and sweating. He would probably be dehydrated in a few minutes. This gun was designed to compete with the American XM9 pistol program. In the end, only 2 pistols were selected. Apart from the Beretta 92F, only the P226 was selected. However, this gun was too expensive, and its performance was not bad. In the end, it did not beat the 92F because of the price. Su Yun shook his head and sighed. Big Head nodded bitterly. He did not understand what this guy was trying to do. However, many rich law enforcement agencies and special forces still like it. Su Yun smiled. The ATF and the FBI both like it. England's SAS and the US Navy SEALs all use this stuff. Boss, are you still very rich? How much did you pay for it? At least tens of thousands, right? Big Head looked at Su Yun with fear in his eyes. What are you going to do? Aren't you talking nonsense? I'm here to catch you. What do you think? Su Yun said, Don't tell me I'm here to play with you. Of course not, Big Head said cautiously. Big Head said cautiously, I mean, is there any room for discussion between us? I think there's room for negotiation between us. We're both trying to make a living. If you let me live, I'll remember your kindness for the rest of my life. Su Yun pointed at the blue ice that he had scattered on the ground. 9,000 grams. Boss, are you kidding me? 9,000 grams? You want me to let you go? That's bullsh*t. How much money do you want? As long as you say the word, I promise I'll give you everything, not a penny less. Big Head said, Really? As long as you give me a chance, I won't let you down. I promise. Me? You'll give me whatever I want? Su Yun glared at Big Head. Okay, $20 billion. Come on, I'll give you an account. Give me the money, and I'll let you go right away. Big Head's face turned green. This was an unreliable number. It meant that Su Yun had no intention of negotiating with him. Have you thought it through? If so, give me the money, Su Yun said. I don't have that much. Big Head said sullenly, Can we be more realistic? If you don't have that much, then shut up. Su Yun interrupted Big Head. Chapter 35-32. You don't want to let me go at all. What's the point of saying all this nonsense to me? Big Head was obviously unwilling to be fooled, but his head was pointed at by a gun, and he had no other choice. Now, because there were only 2 people on the other side, his subordinates still felt a glimmer of hope, so no one gave up. If there were more people on the other side, his subordinates would have abandoned him and run away. Of course, in addition to the people who surrounded Su Yun, there must be people who went out to report. Su Yun didn't stop them, because he wanted Big Head to catch all the people who were involved in selling the water wheel and secretly selling drugs. These people were not good people. They knew that it was a crime, but they still did it. This was obviously something that Su Yun couldn't tolerate. The people who would be at the assembly factory tonight were definitely involved in the blue ice business. Su Yun was 100% sure of this. Those workers who only worked during the day might be involved in repairing the water wheel, but they wouldn't know about the blue ice business, so they didn't deserve to die. But now, everyone in the factory was the same. They were all guilty of heinous crimes. Su Yun would never allow any fish to escape the net. Su Yun and the footmen were like 2 baits that gathered everyone. As long as they came in, Su Yun could guarantee that none of them could get out. This assembly factory only had one front door and one back door. When everyone came in, the two doors would be blocked, and everyone inside would become Su Yun's living targets. Su Yun would deal with them as if he were cutting melons and vegetables. There are still so many people working for you in the middle of the night. It seems that your blue ice business is very profitable. Su Yun knocked Big Head's head with the gun. Tell me, even if you gather all your people, what can you do? In your current state, I'm afraid you can't do anything to me, right? Big Head's face became more and more ugly. Think about it carefully. I have so many people, and you only have 2 people. What do you think you can do to me? At most, we'll perish together. Perish together? That's a good idea. Who wants to perish together with you? I'm not a fool. Su Yun was speechless. Are you sure you can deal with me with just your people? You can try if you don't believe me. Big Head said, but I'm warning you, my people aren't vegetarians. Everyone just wants to make some money. If they aren't forced into a corner, they won't do anything crazy. But if you force them, then you can't blame them. Su Yun nodded. You really aren't afraid of death. Now that the knife is on your neck, you still don't have any reaction. You don't need to scare me. I won't fall for it. Big Head took a deep breath. If you want to kill me, do whatever you want. Su Yun looked at his clumsy performance and wanted to laugh. Now, Big Head was sure that Su Yun would have scruples, so he wanted to take a gamble. Because at this time, other people in the assembly factory also appeared one after another. Even the triangular-eyed and the 2 idiots heard the commotion and rushed over. When the triangular-eyed appeared in the assembly factory and saw Su Yun, his face changed. Su Yun also saw him early. He patted Big Head's head and greeted the triangular-eyed. What a coincidence, I actually met you here. Why is it you? The triangular-eyed was shocked. You bastard! These scourges are all because of you. Big Head angrily scolded. Catch him for me. Although Big Head was controlled by Su Yun, he still had the right to command. The triangular-eyed didn't have a chance to escape and was directly caught by Big Head's people. In order to break free, the triangular-eyed was directly surrounded. The 2 underlings that the triangular-eyed thought he had already dealt with, De Zhuang and Xiao Shou, completely became soft eggs at this moment. They wanted to protect the triangular-eyed, but after all, there were so many people with guns in their hands. At this time, if they helped the 3rd brother, they might die. Everyone was afraid of death, but the 2 of them wanted to live, so the 2 of them didn't dare to open their mouths to help the triangular-eyed. At this moment, the only thing the 2 of them could do was to help the 3rd brother and pray. If their prayers were meaningful, they could be considered to have done their best. If their prayers were meaningless, then they had done their best. The triangular-eyed obviously didn't count on the 2 trash. At this time, even if the 2 trash stood out to help him, it wouldn't change the current situation. Big Head had completely concluded that he was the one who attracted the police. He even firmly suspected that he colluded with the police. The triangular-eyed, who was in a dilemma, could only raise his hands and say to the guys with guns in their hands, "Don't mess around. Absolutely don't mess around. This is a misunderstanding." The triangular-eyed carefully moved back as he spoke. Behind him was a Range Rover that he had just received from Boss Young. This expensive car also hid 3 kilograms of blue ice. Su Yun quickly realized the triangular-eye's intention, but he wasn't worried at all. It was almost time. The 4-clawed nails probably covered the road, and the triangular-eyed couldn't escape now. After all, Cho Yun had followed them all the way back and was waiting not far from the entrance of the assembly factory. "Did you betray me? Did you call the police?" Big Head stared fiercely at the triangular-eyed. The triangular-eyed didn't need to continue being polite to Big Head at this time. Big Head, calm down. Think about it carefully. What benefits can I get if I betray you? King betraying me to the police won't benefit you? Big Head didn't believe his nonsense. You've been caught by the police. You want to betray me and my brothers to get a chance to reduce your sentence, right? I definitely won't do such a stupid thing. You have to believe me. The triangular-eyed also raised his voice. I came to you because I believe in you. I'm sure of your ability. I came to you for myself. Can't you see this? What's the point of me surrendering to the police? Who knows what you want to do? Big Head roared. I would rather believe the police than you. You're really smart. Su Yun praised Big Head's judgment. When Big Head heard this, he was even more convinced that the triangular-eyed betrayed him. Now he wanted to pretend to be a good person in front of so many brothers. This kind of bastard should be killed. Kill him for me. Although Big Head couldn't do anything, his loyal brothers had guns in their hands. With guns, what was there to be afraid of? Su Yun immediately prepared to use Big Head as a meat shield. He was very clear that the guns in these guys' hands didn't have eyes. Shoot! Big Head ordered again. A few guys with guns finally aimed at the triangular-eyed and fired. At this time, the triangular-eyed had already retreated to the side of the Land Rover. When they handed over the car, they casually placed the car keys on the hood. Therefore, the triangular-eyed quickly grabbed the car keys and got into the car. As the car started, the triangular-eyed stepped on the gas pedal without hesitation. The huge Land Rover let out a roar and rushed out like a ferocious beast. This charge was simply aimed at killing people. It scared Big Head's few brothers and they all got up to dodge. De Zhuang and Xiao Pang were dumbfounded. The third brother wanted to escape with his life. What should they do? Should they choose to be more conservative and continue to follow Big Head here and wait for death? Or should they choose to follow the third brother and create their own world? In the chaos, the two realized that the third brother didn't give them a second choice. The triangular-eyed man had already smashed the front door of the factory into smithereens. He dashed out of the assembly factory. At this moment, Leader Tu and Xiao Lu had just arrived at the entrance of the factory. They were shocked by the sudden appearance of the car. However, they weren't worried that the car would escape. There were so many four-claw nails. Even if the tires were bulletproof, they probably couldn't stop these cheap nails. These days, there were really a lot of low-quality people who put nails in their own cars to make money. Then, they would set up traps and throw these nails to deliberately pierce other people's car tires. Therefore, there was absolutely no problem with these nails. Even if there was a 1 in 10,000 problem, there was still Cho Yun guarding the street. Even if the car escaped, it would directly crash into Cho Yun's hands. Team Leader 2 believed that the consequences of falling into Cho Yun's hands were much worse than falling into their hands. Chapter 35-33. Big Head was also stunned. Who knew that the bastard would do such a radical thing? Big Head didn't feel bad about losing a car, but the 3 kilograms of blue ice in the car would really make Big Head's heart ache to death. Why don't you catch him? Big Head looked at Su Yun in surprise. There are a lot of goods in that car. Are you really going to let him escape like this? Don't be so agitated, okay? Su Yun, I'm here to catch you. Let's not bother about his situation first. His ending will definitely not be good. You should worry more about yourself. What kind of situation is this, and you're still worried about your friend? Big Head scolded in his heart. What kind of friend is he? If it wasn't for this bastard, he, Big Head, wouldn't have ended up like this. Triangle Eyes drove crazily out of the assembly factory's gate. He immediately saw the cold and sharp reflection on the ground under the car's headlights. Triangle Eyes immediately realized what these things on the ground were, but he didn't have time to stop. He then heard a series of messy popping sounds. All 4 tires of the Land Rover that the triangular-eyed man was trying to escape were pierced with 4-claw nails. There were hundreds of 4-claw nails on the ground. Not to mention the car tires, even the tracks of a tank would be damaged, right? Triangle Eyes held the steering wheel tightly, but because he stepped on the brake too hard, and the center of this kind of large SUV was much higher than the bottom of a car, he still couldn't control the car to flip over. After all the tires burst, the whole car flipped over and fell to the ground with a bang. Triangle Eyes wanted to open the door, but he couldn't. The heavy fall probably damaged some parts. That was why the door was damaged. Triangle Eyes kicked the windshield in front of him angrily. However, the quality of this kind of car was too good. There was a world of difference between the imported car's glass and the joint venture car's glass. It was no match at all. At this time, the BMW X6 that Cho Yun stole slowly drove over and stopped outside the four-clawed nails. The door opened and Cho Yun got out of the car unhurriedly. She closed the door and leaned against the car, calmly waiting for the triangular-eyed man to escape. If he couldn't escape, then he would just stay inside. After all, Cho Yun wouldn't care about him. Triangle Eyes kicked the car a dozen times with all his might. He was mentally and physically exhausted. At this moment, he really wanted to burn the car down. This is King crazy. Triangle Eyes cursed angrily. Because the car had already turned over, it was very uncomfortable for him to stay inside. With great difficulty, he adjusted his posture and found a sharp object in the hollow box. He tilted his head and smashed the four corners of the windshield. After smashing all four corners, Triangle Eyes raised his leg and kicked the center of the windshield. With a crash, the whole glass was kicked off by him. Triangle Eyes' mood seemed to have eased a lot as the windshield crashed to the ground. He pulled out his leg with difficulty and climbed out of the car. Because the ground was dark, he didn't notice and stepped on the four-clawed nails as soon as he landed. Triangle Eyes slipped and fell to the ground. His buttocks, thighs, and elbows were all pierced by the four-clawed nails in an instant. The four-clawed nails were quite sharp. Every side of the nail was guaranteed to be pointed upwards, so it pierced through one after another. This was also the reason why cars were afraid of these nails. Triangle Eyes' mood was about to explode from the immense pain. If one was unlucky, even drinking cold water would get stuck in one's teeth. Until now, Triangle Eyes didn't even think about who scattered so many four-clawed nails. He stood up with difficulty and didn't care about the 3,000 grams of blue ice hidden in the car. As he limped, he kicked away the four-clawed nails on the ground and walked out carefully. He absolutely couldn't stop on the way to escape. However, when Triangle Eyes looked up, he saw Cho Yun and the BMW X6 10 meters away. His mind went blank. This woman gave him a familiar feeling, but he couldn't tell where he had seen her before, so this feeling made him feel very strange. There was obviously something wrong with a young girl driving such a good car without a license plate. Triangle Eyes' first judgment of Cho Yun was very wrong. He thought that Cho Yun was looking for Big Head. There were only two kinds of people looking for Big Head. One was for the car, and the other was for drugs. This girl drove such a good car. Obviously, there were both possibilities. This was a good opportunity for him. Steal the car and leave. The triangular-eyed man had such a thought in an instant. This thought made him particularly happy in his heart, and he felt that there was always a way out. However, when he walked in front of Cho Yun, he realized what it meant by, heaven wanted to cut off his road. I'll give you a piece of advice. Something happened inside. If you go in, you'll definitely die. The triangular-eyed man looked at Cho Yun with his unique ruthless gaze and said to her, "You owe me a favor. Lend me this car first. If there's a chance, I'll definitely return it to you." Triangle Eyes finished speaking and was about to snatch the keys from Cho Yun. In the end, Cho Yun flipped Triangle Eyes over with a whip kick. Triangular Eyes, who was already injured by the four-clawed nails, was thrown to the ground. Naturally, the wounds on his body were even more painful. Then, he staggered to his feet and glared at Lin Huang with a grimace. "You dare to fight me?" Cho Yun was too lazy to talk nonsense with him. She kicked Triangle Eyes to the ground again. Triangle Eyes didn't expect a woman to be so fast and agile. If he was hit the first time because he underestimated his opponent and wasn't prepared, then the second kick shouldn't be the case. He was fully prepared to defend himself, but he was hit before he could see the speed of the other party's kick. "Who the hell are you?" Triangle Eyes knelt on the ground while clutching his stomach. He looked up at Cho Yun with a panicked gaze. He realized Cho Yun's identity because her skills were like Su Yun's. He couldn't see it at all. "You don't have the right to speak now." Cho Yun said, "If you don't want to die, squat by the side and wait for me." "Why are you arresting me?" Triangle Eyes couldn't understand at all. He was sure that they weren't ordinary police officers. If there were such people in the ordinary police force, they would have all died long ago. They wouldn't have been unable to stop. Cho Yen did not want to pay any attention to the triangular-eyed man, so she treated all of his questions as nothing more than passing wind. However, she put Triangle Eyes in her field of vision. She could see Triangle Eyes' every move clearly. Triangle Eyes knew that he was asking for trouble, so he stopped talking. He curled up on the ground with a cautious look. The pain all over his body made it impossible for him to escape. It was difficult for him to even walk, let alone run. Cho Yun's kick to his stomach just now probably hurt his ribs. Bang! Gunshots suddenly came from the assembly factory. After the first gunshot, it was followed by a series of gunshots. There must be a fierce battle inside. Triangle Eyes looked at Cho Yun, who was standing in front of the BMW, in surprise. "There are gunshots inside. Aren't you worried? Hurry up and go in to see what happened." At this time, the gunshots were still going on. As long as the gunshots continued, it meant that Su Yun was safe. If the gunshots stopped, it meant that Su Yun had dealt with those bastards. Cho Yun seemed to be 100% confident about this. She obviously wouldn't believe that a group of bastards could hurt Su Yun. That would be unreasonable. Therefore, Cho Yun wasn't worried at all. She knew that she only needed to wait quietly for the result. Triangle Eyes looked at Cho Yun in surprise. He hoped that Cho Yun would panic as soon as possible and give him a chance to take advantage of the situation. However, Cho Yun didn't move at all. "Aren't you worried about what happened inside? Aren't you afraid that the people inside will—" Triangle Eyes screamed before he finished his sentence. He covered his bleeding mouth with both hands and his eyes were filled with fear. Cho Yun's kick was too ruthless. She directly kicked his mouth. Almost half of the teeth in his mouth were gone. "Can you shut up now?" Cho Yun glared at Triangle Eyes impatiently. She was in a bad mood. Triangle Eyes was simply looking for death by provoking her. Triangle Eyes looked at Cho Yun in panic and nodded desperately. He swore that this was definitely the most sullen night he had ever spent. Chapter 35-34. Triangular Eyes, whose mouth was full of blood, couldn't say anything now. Wasn't Big Head in the assembly factory the same? Under Su Yun's pressure, Big Head had to let his men put down their weapons and surrender. But at this time, even if he had many men, his words didn't have any prestige. "Put down your weapons. We have something to say slowly." Big Head did this to let Su Yun and the others move the guns on his head away. However, as Big Head's right-hand man, Chi Peng, came to the scene and changed everything. He was the first to disobey Big Head's order. He took out his pistol and aimed at Su Yun. He said angrily, "Let go of our boss. Who do you think will die faster if you shoot at me and I shoot at you at the same time?" Su Yun asked. But at this time, Chi Peng's heart had another idea. He had been with Big Head for 6 years. In these 6 years, he was very familiar with all of Big Head's business. It could be said that even without Big Head now, he could still support everything. "Chi Peng, don't mess around," Big Head scolded. "Are you not going to listen to me?" "Boss, now we have to take the risk." Chi Peng had never treated Big Head with this kind of attitude before. Before, he was obedient to Big Head. If Big Head said east, 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 1, 1, 1. He didn't dare to refute at all. But today was different. Chi Peng publicly refuted Big Head's order. He could actually do this kind of thing. This was definitely something that Big Head couldn't imagine even if he died. Chi Peng stared at Big Head very seriously and said to all the other brothers who were ready to listen, "If we put down the weapons in our hands now, it is equivalent to completely giving up all the opportunities. Boss, we can't just be held down by 2 people like this, right? He has a gun in his hand and he is pointing it at my head." What do you want me to do? Big Head was angry. This was a kind of anger after extreme disappointment. I can only say that I'm sorry. Chi Pang licked his lips. Boss, I can't let all of my brothers fall into eternal damnation because of you. If we have to die just because you are caught, it is really a pity. Big Head's brain instantly buzzed and was stunned. At this time, the subordinates who had put down their pistols once again aimed their pistols at Su Yun. The infantrymen's hearts were once again in their mouths as they cautiously hid in their vehicles. Su Yun smiled faintly. This was really interesting. Big Head's most trusted subordinate had actually abandoned him in order to protect himself at his most critical moment. These people only had benefits in their eyes. For money and benefits, they would do anything at any time. There was absolutely no hint of human feelings. Su Yun had a gun and bullets in his hand, and there was an infantryman sitting in the driver's seat ready to go, so he wasn't worried that the other party could do anything to him. At this moment, the playful Su Yun actually made a strange move. Perhaps only Su Yun would dare to do this. Team leader Tu and Xiao Lu, who were guarding the entrance of the factory, were stunned by Su Yun's actions. Su Yun suddenly let go of Big Head in his hand and smiled. Boss, if I let you go at this time, what do you want to do the most? What I said is true. You can do it. Huazi and Hei Tu at the back door didn't expect Su Yun to make such a move. Huazi was shocked as he patted Blackhead's head. However, Blackhead seemed to be very excited. Perhaps it had never seen a person who did things like this before. How much confidence did this person have to have in order to do such a thing at this time? Su Yun was playing with his heart. He dared to let Big Head go because he knew the gambler's mentality too well. Big Head didn't get the most trusted help at the most critical moment. At this moment, his mind was bound to be filled with anger. He would definitely want to directly kill Chi Pang, who put him in a dangerous situation and didn't care about him. After all, he had trusted and trained him for so many years. How could he give up on him at this time? No boss could tolerate this kind of situation. If there was a choice, any boss would choose to personally kill such an ingrate. Anyway, Su Yun had already let him go. Now, Big Head felt that he had completely regained his own advantage. Even if the opponent had a gun in his hand, it was only a gun. The bullets in the gun were limited. Big Head had so many people. He really didn't believe that he couldn't take care of 2 policemen. As long as he took them down, he would find a place to dig a hole and bury them directly. His only target for revenge was Triangle Eyes. As long as he found Triangle Eyes, he would definitely tear that bastard into pieces. At this time, Big Head didn't know that something had happened outside. Triangle Eyes drove out, but the car overturned on the 4-clawed nails on the ground. But for Big Head now, nothing was more important than killing Chi Pang in front of him. This ungrateful bastard must die. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to convince the others. Yes, he must die. Chi Pang didn't feel Big Head's murderous intent. The more people who knew Big Head, the more they knew that Big Head wouldn't let him go at this time. Die. Just let Big Head do this to me. Chi Pang was full of resistance when he thought of this. Why should I let him deal with me just because he said so? Could it be that he couldn't resist? Just now, when Big Head was controlled, he dared to speak casually. Why did he suddenly not dare to speak now? In fact, all of this was nothing more than a psychological effect. Since he wanted to get everything from Big Head, there was nothing he didn't dare to do at this time. That's right. Things had already reached this point. If he didn't do things to the extreme, then wouldn't he have no chance? In fact, Su Yun wanted to see this kind of internal strife. He was very sure of what Big Head was going through at this time. Su Yun didn't care about the life and death of people like Big Head. For Su Yun, it was best if Big Head could die at the scene, because this kind of people, even if they were caught and convicted, would use their last struggle to find a way to survive. If he could hire a shameless lawyer to help him get rid of the crime, and then use a lot of money to smooth over the connections, he might really be able to keep his life. As long as the death sentence was not executed immediately, even if it was suspended, during the suspended period, the prisoner had the opportunity to find a way to reduce his sentence. The suspended death sentence became life imprisonment, and life imprisonment became a term of imprisonment. Then, the term of imprisonment could be reduced by a few years every year because of good performance. In the end, there were definitely people who could walk out of prison after more than 10 years. It could be said that in Huaxia, as long as the criminal was not executed immediately, as long as there was enough good performance and enough money to pave the way, he could finally walk out of prison intact. Su Yun didn't want this to happen to Big Head. Therefore, he made such a bold decision at the last minute because he was 100% sure that Chi Peng would shoot and kill Big Head. If he didn't shoot and kill Big Head, he would die. In this case, even a fool knew what he should do. Finally, the gunshot sounded. Bang dash. Big Head walked to a position less than 10 meters away from Chi Peng, and Chi Peng shot. However, the first shot was off. The bullet almost brushed past Big Head's ear. Just at the moment when Big Head was stunned and couldn't believe it, Chi Peng pulled the trigger again. The second bullet accurately hit Big Head's chest. Big Head never thought that he would eventually die in the hands of his own people. After this bullet hit, Chi Peng could no longer control his emotions. Immediately after, another bullet hit Dabai's head. Big Head spat out a mouthful of thick blood. He probably couldn't be saved. Afterward, Chi Peng didn't hesitate. He knew that at this time, he needed to incite his brothers to unite with him. He killed in front of Su Yun. Naturally, he wouldn't let the two policemen, Su Yun and the footmen, leave alive. Therefore, Chi Peng didn't hesitate to aim at Su Yun and prepare to shoot. However, at this time, Su Yun, who was already prepared, steadily aimed at Chi Peng and didn't hesitate to pull the trigger. The bullet accurately penetrated Chi Peng's eyebrows. Chi Peng directly knelt on the ground. He didn't expect death to come so quickly. At this time, the people with guns on the scene panicked. They aimed at Su Yun and started shooting. Su Yun had already rolled on the ground to avoid it. Chapter 35:35. When all the bullets missed, Su Yun's figure had already hidden behind a large machine, and Big Head's underlings didn't see where Su Yun went. The infantryman suddenly started the car. With his driving skills, it was enough to play tricks in this space. The car drew a perfect circle in a gorgeous turn, and all the people around the circle were knocked down by the infantryman. This was a successful disruption. Although the infantryman's car attracted almost all the firepower, he was still very safe under the steering wheel. He accurately controlled the steering wheel, making the car's drift circle expand little by little. Soon, he successfully messed up the other party. This gave Su Yun enough opportunities to sneak attack. Su Yun quickly aimed at his first target. The first thing he wanted to kill was the 5 guys with guns in their hands. Of course, these people were different from Chi Peng, who just shot Big Head. Although they were all felonies, they might not die. Although Su Yun didn't want to let go of one and kill all of them. But that kind of murderous aura could be easily controlled by Su Yun, so Su Yun would not go on a killing spree in this place. In the end, these fellows would be handed over to the law to deal with. The reason why he shot Chi Peng's head was because Chi Peng had already killed Big Head in front of him. Judging from Chi Peng's state, it was definitely not his first time killing someone. Therefore, Su Yun didn't mean to leave any mercy at all. He must kill these dangerous people on the spot. 2 shots. Su Yun's first 2 targets threw away the guns in their hands and lay on the ground screaming. All of them were shot, but it wasn't fatal, but it was enough to make them lose the ability to fight. The other 3 guys with guns in their hands were vigilant and began to look for the direction of Su Yun's shooting. Unfortunately, when they found Su Yun's position, they had already been shot and fell to the ground screaming. Su Yun's shooting speed was naturally not what these ordinary people could imagine. Of course, although the 5 guys with weapons in their hands were all shot by Su Yun, the crisis wasn't completely over. Naturally, someone would pick up the guns that fell on the ground. However, Su Yun, who had already confirmed the target, was fully prepared. Anyone who picked up a gun would be shot the moment they picked it up. After a few people were shot, everyone became smart. Everyone realized that if they touched the guns on the ground now, they would inevitably be shot, so no one dared to move. The infantryman's car was still madly turning in a circle to attack the surrounding people. Now, the guys who didn't have lethal weapons in their hands were panicking. No one knew who took the lead to start running. The guy who rushed to the front to escape completely drove everyone's mentality to escape. In a blink of an eye, almost everyone realized that if they couldn't escape today, they would definitely be caught and sentenced. If they escaped, they might have a chance to be free. Of course, this kind of wishful thinking was directly destroyed by Team Leader 2 and Xiao Lu, who suddenly appeared at the door. Team Leader 2 and Xiao Lu both applied to bring guns for this mission. They didn't dare to shoot casually just now because they were worried about accidentally injuring Su Yun and the infantryman. After all, shooting at this distance was not accurate at all, at least for them. Put your hands on your heads and squat down. Don't move. If you run again, I will shoot. Xiao Lu roared. The two people were like the black and white demons. They directly scared the guys who wanted to escape. The guys who ran in front were in more danger. They didn't have time to turn around and could only squat on the ground with their hands on their heads. They were afraid that a bullet would hit their heads. Those who ran at the back didn't hesitate to turn around and run to the back door. The possibility of being shot at this distance was not high, so escape was naturally the first reaction in their hearts. Unfortunately, the fellows who were running towards the back door were even more pitiful, especially the one who was running at the front. He was so excited that he was about to succeed, but in the end, he was suddenly pounced on by a vicious dog with a big black face. The ferocious black head mercilessly pounced on the first person. Its claws viciously scratched the opponent's face. Then, with a leap, it charged towards the second person. It bit down on the ankle and forcefully dragged the other person to the ground. The black head's strength was unimaginable. It was definitely not just for show. Then, the third guy and the fourth guy were all bitten to the ground. The black head's mouthful of blood made everyone's hair stand up. This time, no one dared to continue forward. There was a wolf in front and a tiger behind. This group of guys had reached a point where they couldn't do anything. At this time, the infantryman's car finally stopped. Su Yun also pushed the safety on his pistol and put it behind his waist. The guy who was disfigured by the black head thought that the dog had left, so he was the fish that escaped the net. Unfortunately, when he wanted to get up and sneak away, he saw a pair of leather shoes in front of him. Before this cautious head could raise to take a look, Huazi's leather shoes ruthlessly hit this guy's face. The guy who was feeling lucky a second ago completely fell into a coma in the next second. Huazi helplessly looked at the blackhead's back. "You are really naughty. You must leave one for me. Do you think that if I don't participate, I won't have a sense of existence? Actually, at my age, it's not suitable for fighting and killing anymore." The whole factory was filled with the sound of wailing. The remaining less than 10 guys who weren't injured didn't dare to resist. They all shrank in the middle. They knew what they were facing. The opponent had a gun in his hand, and there was also such a fierce dog. How could they fight? A group of weak chickens. Su Yun helplessly shrugged his shoulders. To be honest, these people were really too weak compared to the ferocious drug dealers outside the border. They didn't have any ability to resist at all. He didn't even sweat, and everything was solved. It was too boring. Other than Su Yun, the only one who didn't feel anything was Huazi. Huazi was from the border anti-drug team and had seen the world. Therefore, this was only a small matter for him. Team Leader 2 and Xiao Lu were more cautious. If it was them, this would be a big case. The only person who was completely excited was the infantryman. After he got out of the car, he was sweating profusely. He was so excited that he spoke incoherently when he saw that a few people's legs were broken because of him. "Brother Yun, what should we do now? How should we deal with these guys?" The infantryman wiped the sweat on his forehead and sighed. He didn't expect that he would have such a powerful moment today. If Chong and the others knew about this, how proud would he be? To be honest, this was enough for him to brag about for the rest of his life. "We don't need to deal with the rest." Su Yun smiled slightly. "Go outside and take a look." Deal with the 4-clawed nails on the ground. I think Cho Yun has already crippled that bastard. I don't need to be responsible for these people who were hit by me, right? The infantryman asked doubtfully. Su Yun shook his head. Of course not. They deserved it if they died. That's good. The infantryman sighed in relief and immediately ran out of the assembly factory. At this time, Cho Yen also wanted to know what was going on inside. All the chaotic sounds had already ended. It was really a quick battle. Could it be? Your people have been. The triangular-eyed man actually dared to hope for such an impossible thing at this time. Cho Yun didn't even look at him. Stop dreaming. The infantryman quickly ran out and declared victory while carefully avoiding the 4-clawed nails under his feet. When the infantryman saw such a good car flip over, his heart ached. It was such a waste. If he could drive this car, he would definitely clean it twice a day. He would never let such a good car have a speck of dust on it. The infantryman used his fastest speed to clean the road, but he was a little helpless about the overturned car. It was more than 2 tons big and couldn't be moved without tools. Cho Yun, who had been silent all this time, stepped forward and moved. 2 slender arms pushed the car a few meters away and directly pushed it to the side of the road. The infantryman and the triangular-eyed man's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Drive the car in. After saying that, Cho Yun opened the trunk and directly threw the car key to the infantryman. When the infantryman caught the key, Cho Yun picked up the triangular-eyed man and threw him into the trunk. She closed the door with a bang, as if she had thrown away something. The infantryman swallowed a mouthful of saliva and quickly got into the car. Cho Yun also got in the car and the BMW directly rushed into the assembly factory. Chapter 35-36. Su Yun had already dialed Chen Wei's number. He told Chen Wei about the current situation. Chen Wei didn't seem too surprised when he learned that everyone had been arrested. It was as if he had already expected this result. Chen Wei told Su Yun to wait for a while. He would immediately contact the relevant department leaders and let the local police rush over as soon as possible. As for the rest, Su Yun didn't need to worry too much. Team Leader Tu and Xiao Lu would cooperate with the local police to solve the rest of the problem. Su Yun asked Chen Wei to treat him to hot pot when he returned. Bureau Chief Chen readily agreed to Su Yun's condition. He happily hung up the phone and contacted the local authorities overnight. This was not a small matter. The local authorities were naturally quite shocked when they received the result. They immediately made arrangements. All Su Yun and the others had to do now was wait. The footman drove Cho Yun to the assembly plant in a BMW X6. Su Yun and the others were a little confused when they saw the car. After the footman got out of the car, he pulled out Triangle Eyes from the trunk and threw him to the ground. However, at this time, no one was interested in him. You didn't buy a water wheel just to follow him back, right? Su Yun looked at Cho Yun in surprise. How much is it? We have to ask Bureau Chief Chen to reimburse us. I didn't buy it. Cho Yun said lightly. How could she spend money to buy a car for such a thing? Anyway, it was a water wheel. It was entered into Hua Xia through improper means. Cho Yun didn't feel that there was anything wrong with stealing it. Not at all. I stole it from a car dealership in Baxiang where they collect drugs. Cho Yun was just talking about a very simple matter. How come no one noticed this? The footman exclaimed, My sister is amazing. If it's as good as you, the people who make water wheels in the mainland will be rich. If you're caught, the consequences will be unimaginable. Cho Yun said casually, You've seen Young and Dangerous, right? Who knows, maybe hundreds of people will come out to chop you up. So, you better give up on this idea. Don't think too much about it. The infantryman laughed dryly and nodded. Yes, I was just saying. If you really want me to get a carriage, I wouldn't dare. At this moment, Su Yun seemed to have thought of Triangle Eyes. He smiled and walked up to him. What do you think? Are you convinced? How did you find me? Triangle Eyes couldn't believe what he had just experienced. Do you think that if we didn't let you go on purpose, you would be able to escape here? Su Yun looked at Triangular Eyed and said, the blue goods you're selling are the source of our investigation. You're just a bait that we deliberately let go. From the beginning, we were sure that you would find your supplier and give you a chance after you escaped. The triangular-eyed man gnashed his teeth and glared at Su Yun. That's why you can come here when we let you go. Su Yun smiled. Your every move is under our surveillance. We just want you to bring in this batch of goods so that we can catch you and seize the goods. Of course, we won't miss out on your value. At this point, Triangle Eyes had no room to turn the situation around. He could only grit his teeth and swallow his anger. It was all because of his carelessness that he was unlucky today. About 10 minutes later, the sound of police sirens could be heard faintly. Soon, the assembly plant was completely surrounded by the sound of sirens. The local police had mobilized almost all the forces of the criminal investigation team. The people in charge of drug enforcement also came to the scene. A person who looked like a leader came forward and introduced himself. I'm the person in charge of Huangjiang. I've received the notice. We'll detain these people first. Who will be responsible for the rest of the work with us? Me. Leader 2 stood up. I'm the leader of the drug enforcement team of Qingdao's criminal investigation team. I'll cooperate with you for the rest of the work. After that, he pointed at Xiao Lu. And him. He'll be responsible for the rest of the work with me. Okay. The leader nodded. Then he glanced at Su Yun, Chou Yun, and the footman. Finally, he glanced at Huazi and He too. Then they are. I'm a friend of Director Chen of Qingdao. I'm just helping out. Su Yun smiled. Then he briefly introduced Chou Yun and the footman, saying that he called them to help. Finally, he pointed at Huazi and said, Brother Huazi is from the border drug enforcement team. I asked him to bring a drug dog to help us solve some problems. Huazi nodded. He took out a certificate that could prove his identity from his pocket. If you have any questions, you can call the drug enforcement team to ask. Sorry, I didn't mean to doubt your identity. The leader nodded. At first glance, he knew that the dog was well trained. Except for the border drug enforcement team, it was hard to find a place that could train such a powerful drug dog. If there's nothing else, we'll leave first. The rest of the work is not within our scope of work. Su Yun, thank you for your hard work. Leader 2 patted Su Yun's shoulder and said gratefully, Mr. Su, it's all thanks to you this time. If it wasn't for your help, we wouldn't have been able to obtain such a huge victory. The person who really made the contribution is you. I just helped. Su Yun laughed. Then he did something that surprised the local police. Su Yun took out the pistol that he had just stuffed in his back. By the way, this was seized from Big Head. Su Yun. Who should I give this to? Government Affairs Department? Sorry, my fingerprints are all on it. I had no choice. The situation was urgent. You see, so many people had guns, so I could only snatch it. Because the local police were notified of the gunfight here, the medical vehicle and the police car came together. At this time, some people had already found the dead Big Head and Chi Peng. At this time, the local police were not as friendly as before. The leader's gaze towards Su Yun became complicated. Su Yun knew what they were worried about and immediately admitted the situation. That's right, I was the one who fired the gun. Other than the people on the other side, I'm the only one who fired the gun. Of the people who were injured and killed here, other than Big Head, I killed everyone else. Just as Su Yun's voice fell, several local police officers suddenly took out their pistols and aimed at Su Yun. In their view, Su Yun was a dangerous person. What right did he have to shoot people? Even if the other party was a criminal. Chou Yun glared at them. If these people dared to harm Su Yun, she didn't care whether they were police or not, and she didn't care what reason they had. As long as they dared to touch Su Yun, she would not let them go. Everyone, don't be agitated. We're on the same side. We're all on the same side. Team Leader 2 quickly tried to ease the atmosphere. What are you doing? Burning the bridge after crossing the river. You don't have the ability to arrest people, but my brother Yun did it for you. What do you want to do to him? The foot soldiers were also very agitated. It must be known that they were the ones who had a fierce battle with the criminal. Now that the criminal was dealt with, why would the local police point their guns at them? Su Yun was also a little helpless. Although he understood their actions, it was a bit of a headache for their stubbornness. We know what kind of contribution you made in this matter, but your identity is also very suspicious. The local police had no intention of giving in. What do you do? How can you have such accurate marksmanship? This was the most surprising question for the local police. Su Yun alone killed so many people with a single gun. His identity was obviously very suspicious. My identity. Then, I will prove it to myself. If you don't trust me, take me back first. Su Yun, I will make a phone call, and naturally, someone will come to prove my identity. What do you think? You have to come with us now. Su Yun actually became the suspect of the other party's strict surveillance, for no reason. This matter made Team Leader 2 and Xiao Lu very embarrassed, and it also made Cho Yun and the foot soldiers very angry. For this matter, Huazi was also very helpless. After all, he and the local police were not in the same system. He didn't have enough weight to help Su Yun prove anything. Chapter 35-37. The local police were still very polite to Huazi. After all, Huazi had the border anti-drug team's ID. Now Huazi could leave directly. The local police would arrange for someone to send him to the airport, and even arrange for a car to send him back. Su Yun also said to Huazi, "Brother Huazi, thank you so much for this matter. I should have treated you to a good drink tonight, but with the current situation, I'm afraid I don't have that much freedom anymore." No need. There will be opportunities in the future. Huazi said, "You can come at any time. I'll be waiting for your contact. When I retire, I'll go to the north to find you." No problem. Su Yun said readily, "Let's eat seafood together." Blackhead, make your choice. Do you want to follow your brother Su Yun or go back? Huazi looked down at Blackhead. Blackhead's eyes were watery, but his footsteps were still very firm as he walked toward Su Yun. Blackhead didn't want to retire like this. He didn't want to be a dog guarding a warehouse. He wanted a more challenging life. After all, he felt that he still had half of his dog life to go. Huazi smiled slightly because he had already confirmed Blackhead's choice. Then you must be good in the future. Don't lose face for our border anti-drug team. Huazi laughed. Follow your brother Yun in the future. When I have time, I'll go to see you. If your brother Yun has time, you can ask him to bring you back to see me. Blackhead let out a low growl. Huazi smiled and said to the local police staff, "Then you can send me to the airport. I don't want to waste any more time. I'll take the earliest flight back. After I go back, I still have work to do." In fact, Su Yun and the others knew that Huazi didn't want to leave Blackhead. The more he left, the more uncomfortable he and Blackhead would feel. It was better to leave directly. This was better for him and Blackhead. "Let's go," Huazi said and walked out directly. Tears fell from the corners of Blackhead's eyes, but he didn't move at all. The relationship between Huazi and Blackhead was very special. Huazi wasn't Blackhead's trainer. They didn't have any partners before. In fact, they were both left in the team because of injuries. Then they became brothers in distress. This kind of relationship was indeed very special. After Huazi left, Su Yun said to the black-headed man, "I'm afraid I won't be able to accompany you today. You can stay with this big sister, she'll help me take care of you." Hearing this, Blackhead raised his head and looked at Cho Yun. It seemed that his first impression of Cho Yun wasn't bad. Cho Yun didn't have much of a reaction. She also glanced at Blackhead. Her impression of it was mediocre. For this kind of working dog, it didn't have the cuteness of acting cute, so Cho Yun didn't have too much of that kind of feeling. Although Blackhead understood the situation that Su Yun was in, he was obviously very dissatisfied. That's right, Blackhead was really dissatisfied with how those people treated Su Yun. Even a dog could see that if it wasn't for Su Yun, this matter wouldn't have been resolved so easily and perfectly. Just as the local police were about to detain Su Yun, Blackhead let out a chilling sound. This was Blackhead's anger. At this time, someone actually pointed his gun directly at Blackhead. Perhaps in this guy's eyes, Blackhead was just a dog. He didn't care whether it was a drug detection dog or not. As long as it dared to threaten them, he would directly shoot it to death. This person was the captain of the local drug detection team, Jiang Hui. From the beginning, his face was filled with displeasure. He didn't have any happy mood at all. You better be rational. Su Yun suddenly grabbed Jiang Hui's wrist and pointed the gun directly at the ceiling. He wouldn't allow anyone to threaten Blackhead. I'm warning you, Blackhead is a drug detection dog with military achievements. If you dare to hurt him, I guarantee that you won't know what will happen to you. Facing Su Yun, Jiang Hui said hot-headed, "It's just a dog. If it dares to bite or hurt people, I dare to kill it. I don't care what achievements it has. Any animal that dares to threaten our leader deserves to die. Even if it's an animal, it's still better than a person with a high position but no achievements." Su Yun was also angry. He suddenly exerted force. Jiang Hui's wrist was in pain and he couldn't hold on to the gun in his hand. It directly fell out of his hand. Just as the gun was about to fall to the ground, Su Yun hooked the gun with the tip of his foot and directly grabbed it in his hand. When Jiang Hui came back to his senses, Su Yun had already pointed the gun at Jiang Hui's head. Jiang Hui's legs instantly turned to jelly. He was so scared that he couldn't even speak. He was scared because he knew that this person in front of him dared to kill. He wasn't the kind of person who hadn't killed people before, so he was really scared. He didn't know who Su Yun was, but he was sure that this person had killed people. The murderous aura was completely irresistible. I warned you not to provoke it. Su Yun's eyes were almost shooting out flames. Although the others were now aiming at Su Yun was completely fearless. He knew that these people wouldn't dare to fire recklessly. After all, there was a higher leader at the scene. Team Leader 2 hurriedly said to the leader, "This is all a misunderstanding. Leader, please say something. Please don't make things so unpleasant." "No need." Su Yun completely dismantled the gun in a few seconds. Team Leader 2, I'm not that kind of irrational person. Don't worry. Team Leader 2 heaved a sigh of relief. The scene just now had really frightened him. However, Su Yun's tone immediately changed. "However, I'm warning all of you. You can doubt me, you can question me, you can do anything to me, but no one can touch Blackhead. If anyone dares to touch even a strand of his hair, I'll let him know clearly whether he's worse than a dog." As he said this, Su Yun's gaze landed on Jiang Hui's head. Jiang Hui's old face was red. He wanted to refute, but facing Su Yun's murderous aura, he didn't say a word. "Misunderstanding, this is all a misunderstanding. We're all on the same side. There's no need to make things unpleasant." The leader spoke again. "Everyone here today has contributed greatly, including the sniffer dog. So, please show some respect. Be polite." With the leader's words, these people's attitudes finally eased. However, to Jiang Hui, the more he looked at these people, the more he disliked them. Especially this Su Yun and that damn dog. "If you want me to cooperate, I'll cooperate. However, my people have nothing to do with this matter. They haven't touched a gun before." Su Yun said, "So they don't need to go." "Of course." The leader spoke. "Infantrymen, bring Cho Yun and Blackhead back to the hotel to rest. After I'm done here, I'll look for you," Su Yun said to the infantryman. The infantryman nodded. Cho Yun, who had been silent all this while, finally opened her mouth. She said something that made Jiang Hui's hair stand on end. "Don't worry about Blackhead following me. If anyone wants to harm him, I won't be merciful. It's just killing, these words seemed casual, but when it came from Cho Yun, a woman with a murderous aura, it really made one's hair stand on end. Even the leader, who had been through a lot, would feel uncomfortable hearing these words. "You guys can go back." Su Yun waved his hand. Before Blackhead left, he made a bearing gesture at Zhang Hui, as if warning him that if he dared to do anything to Su Yun, he wouldn't let him off. When the infantryman was about to drive the car away, he was stopped because the other party thought that the car was also a water truck. The infantryman then changed the license plate to let the other party check the license plate number and showed them the license plate. When they saw that the Cayenne was a legitimate private car, they let them go. When Zhang Hui saw that Su Yun drove such a luxurious car, he couldn't help but mutter in his heart. He didn't know what kind of person this guy was. What kind of person was so rich that he could help the Qingdao police do such a thing? Of course, these questions would be answered by Group Leader 2 in the future. Chen Wei of Qingdao would also call to explain this matter. However, before all this, Zhang Hui decided to let this guy know how powerful they were. Otherwise, his attitude would be too arrogant. Zhang Hui didn't like this kind of person at all. He didn't like people who were too capable, and he didn't like people who were too ostentatious. To put it bluntly, he didn't like people like Su Yun. A person like Su Yun who shone so brightly made him feel that he didn't have a sense of existence. Under the light, he didn't seem to have any ability at all. This was probably the reason why Zhang Hui was so depressed today. Thinking about it, the people of Qingdao came to his territory to arrest people and even destroyed such a large criminal organization's nest. They had done a meritorious service, but what about him? He, Zhang Hui, was the #1 drug enforcement officer in the area, but he didn't contribute at all in this matter. Compared to this, what was he? He was simply labeled as neglecting his duty. How could he be happy like this? Of course not. Of course, he didn't like Su Yun. It could even be said that he hated him very much. Su Yun didn't know about this. Who knew that there would be such a narrow-minded person in this world? Chapter 35-38. After everyone left, Su Yun was brought back alone for interrogation. After all the people who were shot at the assembly factory today were injured by him. This was definitely a big deal. Of course, due to Su Yun's special situation, Su Yun also got the chance to make a call. He could only call Wan Guangxiao in the middle of the night. This kind of thing could only be solved by Wan Guangxiao contacting the higher-ups. After all, it was impossible for someone without a certain status to use connections in the middle of the night. Su Yun was quite embarrassed to call Wan Guangxiao at this time. After Wan Guangxiao learned about this, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "I really don't recognize you now. Aren't you the guy who wanted to beat up the police when he saw them? You actually helped the police and worked so hard, causing such a big commotion." "I didn't have a choice. I can't just leave such a malignant tumor alone." Su Yun laughed dryly. "Chief, I can only trouble you with this. I'm afraid I can't handle other people. Now, they already treat me as a murderer. Aren't you?" Wan Guangxiao glared and said, "You don't have legal authorization. You're just causing trouble." "Chief, you can't say that. I just killed a person. That person shot someone in front of me. I can't just sit back and do nothing." "Su Yun, don't blame me. Hurry up and contact the people here. I think if I don't go out today, there will definitely be people here who won't be polite to me. I'm not the kind of person who can endure humiliation. If I really make a big mess, won't you still have to help me make up for it?" Wan Guangxiao was speechless. "You've learned how to threaten me now, kid. Why should I help you make up for it? You better be careful. If you really make a big mess again, I won't care about you." "Yes, yes, yes," Su Yun quickly said. "Are you still you?" Wan Guangxiao sighed helplessly and hung up the phone. After all, Su Yun was his soldier. He couldn't just sit back and watch. Su Yun laughed after hanging up the phone. Yes, was he still himself? Ever since he left the Dragon Brigade, he had changed a lot, especially his attitude towards the police. Qin Wan had changed his attitude towards the police, and Chen Wei's appearance had made Su Yun realize that he had been too radical in the past. He smiled bitterly and shook his head. Forget it, he didn't want to think about it anymore. There was no point in thinking too much. What big shot did you bring here? If you can't get some big shot here, you'll definitely suffer today. The young man who brought Su Yun to make the call said, "This is not a small matter. You know it clearly, right?" Su Yun nodded. "Of course. Then let's go. Go wherever you need to go." Su Yun was directly thrown into an interrogation room. This treatment was really bad. Originally, Jiang Hui even wanted to handcuff Su Yun. Luckily, Team Leader Tu and Xiao Lu were there, and the local leaders didn't let Su Yun endure this humiliation. If the handcuffs were really handcuffed, Su Yun would definitely teach Jiang Hui a lesson when he took them off. Su Yun's thinking was still too kind. Jiang Hui didn't handcuff him, but it didn't mean that he gave up on the opportunity to humiliate him. Just a few minutes after Su Yun arrived at the interrogation room, Jiang Hui appeared. "Oh, isn't this Captain Jiang? Why are you here?" "Su Yun, we arrested so many people today. Logically speaking, you should be very busy. So many people need to be interrogated." "Don't be so cheeky. Who do you think you are?" Jiang Hui glared at him. "In my eyes, you are no different from those people. No, in my eyes, you are more dangerous than those people. Then you think too highly of me." Su Yun smiled slightly. He immediately knew why Jiang Hui was here. It was obviously to teach him a lesson. He really didn't understand why there was such a person in the police force. He didn't have any vigilance when dealing with criminals, but always put on a self-righteous face when dealing with good citizens. This kind of person really deserved a beating. Let me tell you, if there isn't a reputable person to protect you today, no one will be able to take you away. Jiang Hui glared. "This is my territory. I am the boss. I have the final say. No one can help you." "Captain Jiang, what do you mean? Are you using your position to take revenge? What happened between us isn't considered a personal grudge, right?" Su Yun smiled bitterly. "I didn't expect you to be such a petty person. This is too disappointing." Jiang Hui glared. "I'm petty? When you pointed the gun at my head, you should have known what kind of person I am. You pointed the gun at Blackhead first. If not, I wouldn't have done that." Su Yun's last bit of good mood was completely destroyed by this bastard. He couldn't guarantee that this guy wouldn't be beaten up badly the second time he called himself Daddy. "You compared me to a dog?" Jiang Hui was anxious. Su Yun shrugged. "I really have to apologize to Blackhead. I really shouldn't have compared him to you. It's too insulting." "What did you say?" Jiang Hui glared. "Say it again. Do you believe that I will make sure you can't walk out of here alive today? I have already turned off the surveillance camera. Do you think I don't dare to touch you?" This was the second time Jiang Hui had called himself Daddy. Su Yun also received a clue that made him feel very happy. The surveillance camera was turned off. "Yeah, I really thought you wouldn't dare to touch me." Su Yun's lips curled up slightly. Those who were familiar with Su Yun knew what this smile meant. Jiang Hui suddenly took out the rubber stick that he had secretly brought in. He raised it and wanted to hit Su Yun's head. This guy suddenly attacked without hesitation. His whole body carried a ruthless aura. Obviously, he didn't intend to show any mercy. The rubber stick wouldn't leave a scar on the head, but it could send a person to the hospital from the concussion. A concussion was not a joke. If the rubber stick hit a person's head a few times, it could cause them to lose their memory or even become a vegetable. From this point, Su Yun could see how ruthless Jiang Hui was. Against such a person, Su Yun naturally wouldn't show mercy. Just when Jiang Hui thought that his sudden attack could make Su Yun shut him up, Su Yun once again snatched the weapon out of Jiang Hui's hand. Jiang Hui's mind went blank as his stick missed. The weapon in his hand was snatched away in the blink of an eye. He really couldn't understand how Su Yun did it. Su Yun took the rubber stick from Zhang Hui's hand and laughed coldly. The surveillance camera is turned off, right? No. No. I'm warning you. Everything you do to me will be recorded. Recorded. Zhang Hui couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Don't King try this on me. You turned it off for a while and then it didn't. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old kid who will believe whatever you say? Su Yun spat and raised the rubber stick in his hand without hesitation. Zhang Hui was instantly dumbfounded. The stick smashed down with a strong gust of wind. Zhang Hui even felt that this gust of wind was enough to slice his head open. Just when the stick was about to smash Zhang Hui's brain out, it suddenly stopped. It was only a few millimeters away from Zhang Hui's forehead. If Su Yun didn't stop, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that Zhang Hui's brain would really be smashed out of his eyeballs. Su Yun controlled himself at the crucial moment. He couldn't cause trouble for the chief. Moreover, no matter how bad this bastard was, he was still a government official with status. Although Su Yun, who had taken control of himself, stopped swinging the rod in his hand, the fierce killing intent in his eyes still remained. Zhang Hui carefully opened his eyes and happened to meet Su Yun's gaze. He shivered from head to toe. Zhang Hui swore that this was the scariest gaze he had ever seen in all these years. There was no other way. Let me tell you, I hate useless people who call themselves my father the most in front of me. Su Yun threw the rubber stick to the ground. Although I don't have much of an impression of my father, I know that he is a man of indomitable spirit. A piece of trash like you is not even worth a fart in my eyes. Zhang Hui was stunned speechless in the face of Su Yun's powerful aura. His legs went soft and he sat on the ground. Scram. Su Yun threw out a word unhappily. Zhang Hui wanted to stand up and leave, but he realized that his legs weren't listening to him. He tried a few times but couldn't stand up. Chapter 35-39. I gave you a chance and you didn't want it? Su Yun suddenly bent down and pretended to pick up the rubber stick. Zhang Hui didn't know where the strength came from, but he quickly got up, turned around, and ran out of the interrogation room. The moment he ran out of the interrogation room, he felt that his back was covered in cold sweat. His entire shirt was drenched in cold sweat. Only then did he know what the strength was. It was the strength to survive. The moment he ran out, he was really afraid. He was afraid that Su Yun would beat him to death. He originally wanted to pretend, but in the end, he was slapped in the face. How could Zhang Hui show his face? More importantly, there were a few subordinates who were usually close to him at the door. At this moment, they were also looking at him with a dumbfounded expression. Captain Jiang, what's the situation? What happened to you? A smart person immediately guessed the situation and quickly helped Zhang Hui out. Captain Jiang, are you not feeling well? Quickly find a place to rest. You must be tired from work. That's right, Captain Jiang. Since there's nothing else, leave the rest to us. Go back and rest. Zhang Hui wasn't in the mood to care about these people. He waved his hand impatiently and asked them to leave. Don't bother me. The crowd quickly dispersed. Zhang Hui gritted his teeth and left. He thought to himself, you're good. Let's see who you can get to protect you. I don't care who it is. I won't let him get you out easily. With this thought, Zhang Hui couldn't wait to tear Su Yun apart. It was a pity that Su Yun wouldn't give him this chance. The person that Wan Guangxiao could bring out was naturally not an ordinary person. If he called in the middle of the night to disturb a high-ranking official's cadre, the other party would naturally take this matter very seriously. In just a short 10 minutes, the call was passed from Wan Guangxiao's side to the subordinates. Wan Guangxiao only said to the high-ranking official, he's a very important person under me. He's a soldier from our country's special department. This time, he's here to investigate a very important matter. The mission isn't that simple, so I hope the local police won't cause any trouble. The high-ranking official's message was even more serious. The person who caused trouble in Huang River today is an important person from the country's secret department. Whoever dares to disrespect him will immediately take off their clothes and get lost. This message was directly sent to the local municipal party secretary's phone. How could this be? This matter must be taken seriously. The local municipal party secretary almost woke up in the middle of the night and rushed over personally. From Su Yun's call to the secretary's personal arrival, it only took 35 minutes. When the secretary arrived, everyone's mood changed. Everyone was full of energy. Everyone wanted to show the side of them that they were willing to bow their heads and serve in front of the secretary. However, the secretary wasn't in the mood. He immediately requested to see Su Yun. This made Zhang Hui's jaw drop. This guy's phone call made the secretary appear in half an hour. Furthermore, he personally went to see Su Yun and asked about his well-being. He treated Su Yun as if he was a superior. This attitude completely stunned everyone. Everyone was shocked and didn't dare to imagine what Su Yun's identity was. This was simply too much. Su Yun thanked him. It was really embarrassing to trouble the secretary in the middle of the night. However, now that the matter was resolved, he felt much better. No one disrespected you, right? Zhang Hui, who was standing at the side, felt his head explode. At this moment, any word from Su Yun could ruin his career. He definitely wouldn't be able to get up again in this lifetime. There really is one. Su Yun didn't stand on ceremony and directly criticized him. Captain Zhang doesn't like me. This wasn't because Su Yun was petty. Su Yun just didn't want such an incompetent person to be in such an important position. Due to the special circumstances of this area, some of the criminal activities were very subtle and varied. Hence, they needed someone who truly put his heart and soul into his work. For someone like Zhang Hui, he was really not suitable for such an important job. He wasn't capable enough and wasn't responsible enough. Why should he be in such a position? He didn't rule out the possibility that they were related. He also didn't rule out the possibility that they would rope in other people. Actually, I'm very curious. With such a blatant criminal gang right under your nose, how did Captain Zhang not notice at all? Su Yun, if this place continues to use such an incompetent person to lead the team, then the security here will continue to be like this. After hearing this, the secretary was very angry. He directly pointed the spearhead at Zhang Hui. What have you done? Inaction. If you don't have any ability at all, then don't work in the future. Su Yun saw that the secretary didn't intend to remove his official position in front of him, so he added, however, Captain Zhang is very good at one thing. Everyone listened attentively. They wanted to know what Su Yun was going to say. Captain Zhang is really ruthless to his own people. Just now, he actually came into the interrogation room with a baton to interrogate me. Su Yun shook his head helplessly. I don't know what he wants to do either. Zhang Hui almost knelt down in front of Su Yun at this moment. My grandpa. Don't say anything else. If this went on, he might be removed from his post today. I know. Maybe because of our actions, Qingdao stole Captain Zhang's credit. But Captain Zhang, you can't use your official position to avenge private grudges because of this, Su Yun added fuel to the fire. Sigh, I don't want to affect other people's careers, but you with the surname Zhang. From today onwards, you will be relieved of all your duties. You will be dismissed without pay and go home to reflect on your actions. The secretary didn't wait for Su Yun to continue. He was furious. If you don't understand, then don't ever come back to work. Do you know what your actions are? Do you know how bad your actions are? I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Zhang Hui had never been so dejected in his life. He had actually been checkmated by someone else in his own territory and had lost miserably. Su Yun was already giving him enough face. If it wasn't for his observation that this guy didn't seem to be related to this criminal gang, Su Yun wouldn't have let him off so easily. Secretary, actually, I have something to say. I don't know if I should say it, Su Yun said. Go ahead. Su Yun was really serious now. I think that the local leaders need to pay attention. I believe that many things won't be so easy for the other party to take advantage of, so I think that the leaders of some departments need to reflect on their work. Yes, yes, yes. At this moment, Su Yun was the boss. Whatever he said was law. After all, in their eyes, Su Yun was an important figure in a very confidential department of the country. Once it involved someone from the national department, any one of them would have a much higher position than them. Hence, no one dared to offend him. Su Yun was the boss here. Whatever he said was law. I'm just saying. If I say too much, I hope you won't take offense. Su Yun, since this is the case, it's not convenient for me to stay. I still have things to do, so I'll take my leave first. I'll arrange for someone to send you. The secretary immediately asked someone to prepare his car to send Su Yun back. Su Yun didn't stand on ceremony. After all, the people in the hotel were probably waiting anxiously. The earlier he went back, the earlier they would be able to relax. Hence, Su Yun sat in the secretary's car and went back to the hotel. After Su Yun left, the secretary was completely enraged. He scolded Zhang Hui and his men right in their faces. Especially that Zhang Hui. Almost every word he said was a torrent of abuse. Of all the people you could offend, you had to offend such a big shot. Do you know who he is? Do you know? The secretary scolded angrily. Actually, he didn't know either, so he didn't dare to say anything. You didn't know anything and yet you dared to do such a disrespectful thing. I think all of you don't want to work anymore. If you don't want to work, then scram. Go to hell. The angry scolding lasted for about half an hour. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.